Sorry, chat. Didn't mean to keep you waiting for longer. Your boy was just doing some reading. Nice to see you all. Hope you all are doing well. Welcome to a little mini stream. This is not supposed to be like a big sort of stream. We're just kind of vibing for a little bit, right? We're just vibing. I thought I was watching Denims. You took so long. It's 9 minutes. We all know that the Denim starting soon screen is at minimum an hour and a half long. Come on. Cut me a little slack here. We love Denims, okay? But I think she also does take a nap right after she presses the go live button. Listen, here's the thing. It's efficient. I can't even say anything about it because it's efficient. You know? Having you all in chat watching ads and watching a video while she's not, you know, watching ads, and just typing away in chat. And she gets a little nap in. That's literally making money while you sleep. I don't have anything to say about it because it's actually it's probably one of the biggest brain content creator plays I've ever seen in my entire life. Admirable, honestly. Revolutionary even. Every time I write a message, you get a nickel. God willing. And keep it working when you aren't. So true. Just the only streamer to get stun lock before the stream even starts. What's with all this Denims slander? Also, I have something to say to you all. The furry foot video is back in the algorithm. It's back. It's back in the algorithm. And I honestly can't really do much about it. I wish that I could, but I kind of can't. It's just like, every once in a while, YouTube will just be like, yeah, I think I want to send this video back out. And I really don't know why. She's posting shorts? Oh, is she back on her YouTube channel? I know she doesn't really post that much anymore, as far as I remember. The what? The furry foot racism video is back in the algorithm. How? I don't know. But like I said, every once in a while, YouTube will just be like, I think people should start watching this video again. And so they just start pushing it. And they want everybody to watch the video. And that's just kind of how it is. I don't really know what more to tell you, partner. I really don't. I really don't. But in the last 90 days, it's gotten how many views? Let me take a look again. Let me see. With the goat guy? Yeah, with the why we need racism goat guy. The thing is, all right. The thing is, so let me check, and let me check the back end. In the last 90 days, guess this. I wasn't watching this, but in the last 90 days, this video has gotten 64,000 views. And in the last year, it's gotten 100,000 views. I don't know why. In the last 28 days, 43,000, and in the last 7 days, 21,000. It's back in the algorithm. A lot of people have been saying that they've been getting recommended this video again. And that's just, I think YouTube just wants people to watch it, apparently. Even the materials, everything about the video is cursed, except for the editing. The editing was top notch, that video. I did a great job. Nanachi, thank you so much for the tier 1. They said at least we have a progressive degenerate furry to call our own. Pyro cynical. I mean, Pyro, he's not a bad guy, is he? I think he was kind of weird once, but I don't think he was like a bad guy. He did like, you know, he did like a weird thing, but it's not like a really bad thing, right? Not as far as I know. Yeah, he's all right, right? How old is that I voted sticker, Shark? 2016? None of your business? Yeah, nosy ass. I think I put it on in 2016. No, because I was 17. 2018. So it's like 5 years old or something. Here, let me take a look. It's been quite some time, I'll tell you that much. Your channel, videos. Let's search by oldest, and then we'll scroll for a little while until I reach like the videos that I actually started, until I reach my political videos, which is at least like 2 or 3 years into the channel. Oh yeah, quite some time into the channel. Let's see. Helltaker, this is 3 years ago. Can I see this? Oh yeah, no, it was there 3 years ago. It's been there 3 years. So it wasn't there. It wasn't there in 2020, June. Okay, no, I put it on my I put it on in 2020. Okay, good to know. Good to know. 2020. So it's like 3 years old. Okay. I thought I did it in 2018. No, it was 2020. I put it, okay, I remember. This sticker is from me being it's an important sticker for me because this is the sticker that I got to vote for. This is the Democratic primary sticker that I got to vote for not only Charles Booker but also Bernie Sanders, and I felt really proud about that because I was able to vote for both of them. That I was like actually proud to vote for at the time. So yeah, it's an important sticker to me, and it comes with me. And it was the first, and it's also the first presidential primary that I was ever able to vote in. Helltaker? Yeah, I do. Yeah. That was back when we uploaded some gaming videos to the main channel. I was still experimenting with exactly what I wanted to put on the main channel. And honestly, to this very day, we still experiment with what I plan to put on the main channel. That compiling and all. Yeah, all that type of stuff. Building new firmware. Building a new firmware for my lap? You're building firmware? Oh my gosh, you're crazy. You voted in 2016? Shark, you're old? No, I didn't. I voted in my first ever election I voted in was 2018 because I was 19 that year. And I wasn't old enough to vote in 2016 because I was only 17 that year. My first time voting was Biden Trump. Yeah, we're young. A lot of us are young frogs here. Not all of us, but a lot of us are young frogs here. Okay. Speaking about all of that, we have like a talk that we need to do. Apparently somebody wants to talk to me. What's his name? Who? What's his name? tomfoolery show. Tomfoolery show guy, Mr. Show, wants to talk to me about us talking to Matt Walsh. Apparently he said he had some disagreements. Not sure exactly what or why. I didn't really ask, but yeah, so there was that. You're talking to tomfoolery? I don't really know much about the guy. What, is he annoying or something? I don't really know much about him. Felt beardo. I'm a 99 baby. So true. Me as well. Me as well. But January 99 baby. Okay, so in the last 2 days, I've been hanging out with Girly, right? But here's the crazy thing about it, all right? She's been making me watch movies recently. She said that I'm not allowed to not watch movies. And so she said that I need to sit down and watch movies. Oh, thank God. What do you mean, thank God? You won't be saying thank God once I tell you the first movie she had me watch. It was the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, okay? So that was the first one that I really watched with her. We went to the movie theater the other day. Yo, I saw that too. Yeah, we went to the movie theater the other day, and she's a big Five Nights at Freddy's lore head, I guess. What are you talking about? You fell asleep to Five Nights at Freddy's lore on TikTok like goddamn omelette du fromage, playing on repeat for 3 hours until I realized that it was that was what was going on.
It was on my For You page.
Okay, and you were watching it. You're watching some other Five Nights at Freddy's videos too. So yeah, so don't you just sit here and try and play dumb in front of them. Yeah, okay. You can make excuses. All I said is that you were watching them and you were enjoying them, and you did pre-research on the Five Nights at Freddy's lore before we came there, because you're like, well, Golden Freddy technically is a normal Freddy, and he is technically possessed by 2 people. And Slackjaw, Jaw Trap, Trap Clank is... Yeah, there you go. And Springtrap is the guy who killed all the kids back in... And so the Bite of 87
Go back to your screen.
Anyways. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, she's a massive Five Nights at Freddy's lore head. Right? And Jawstrap. Yeah, so Jawstrap, that guy. Yeah, I listen. I don't really know. Anyways, the movie here, listen, I'll talk about this. The movie, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Pause the music because this is serious stuff. The movie was bad. It was a bad movie. If you are a massive Five Nights at Freddy's head, if you're a big Five Nights at Freddy's lore head, then you're going to enjoy it, because the whole movie is kind of like, hey, yo, okay, hey, isn't that great? Hey, and then there's like, hey, no spoilers. I am gone. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but I will be spoiling the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. So I guess if you really don't want it, I guess if you really don't want the Five Nights at Freddy's movie spoiled for you, I guess this is not. Give me like, I don't know, like 20-30 minutes, and then you can come back. Okay, partner? I really enjoyed the movie. Yeah, like if you're like a big Five Nights at Freddy's head or whatever, or you can just kind of like enjoy it and laugh, then I mean, go ahead. Then it is a ride, I'll tell you that much. Basically, the whole movie revolves around this guy. His name is Mike, and he's like a complete fucking loser, like a massive, huge loser to like the umpth degree. Okay, he can't hold a job for the life of him. He's constantly getting fired. He can't have a job. He works for like a week at a time and then leaves because he can't possibly ever like keep a job down. The last security job, he usually works as a security guard. The last security guard job he worked for, he beat the fuck out of some random guy who had with a kid, because he has PTSD of his little brother being yoinked and kidnapped in front of his eyes back when he was on a camping trip in Nebraska with his family. Okay, and so it and so this guy, all right, who has like a little sister who looks like his daughter, but it's actually just his little sister. He's trying to take care of her, has no clue how to do it. His aunt is a bitch and wants to take his sister from him because he's like a loser. She can see it, but he doesn't want to because his like little sister who doesn't talk still loves him, and then he just doesn't know that because they don't have like a great like speaking relationship. She's not the speaking type of girls, but she's the drawing type, so she always draws pictures 24/7. And his aunt, who's once again is a huge bitch, is like that dumb fucking little kid, that fucking weird freak loser, is always drawing pictures and not like speaking, like a weirdo. And then she goes to like the fucking like child psychologist with our main character Mike guy, because the kid's just such a fucking loser to her mind because she draws pictures. And so the counselor foreshadows and goes, hey, listen, sometimes pictures hold strong value to children. Remember that. And then she was like, shut up, the kid's stupid. And then she like whips out her like weird lawyer and then serves our main character with like basically child divorce papers, saying that she's going to sue him to get custody of his little sister so she can take care of her and make her a non-weirdo. He's like, no, don't do this, no, but then leaves and is like, damn, she's kind of right. I am a huge fucking loser with no job, no nothing, no career prospects, can't hold down a job, can't cook, can't clean, can't do shit, nothing. And so he goes, maybe she's right. Goes home. There's like a fucking eviction notice on the door saying that there's delinquency and bro hasn't paid because he's so fucking poor. Anyways, he goes home. The babysitter who he doesn't pay is there, and he's like, and she's like, hey dog, thanks for not paying me again, dipshit. Thanks for not paying me again, dipshit. And and he's like, sorry, I mean, I definitely intend to pay you like someday. Anyways, he goes to the career counseling, and then this weird guy who's like, hey Mike, I got a job for you. You want a job? It's a good gig. I mean, bad gig where you have to but it's pretty cushy. I mean, no benefits, but you do get to just sit there at night, just keep people out. That's literally it. It's this old rundown Chuck E. Cheese type place. It's called Freddy's Fazbear Pizza. You want it? You want it? And then he's like, fuck no, dumbass. I can't work nights. And he's like, oops, it's only nights. Here's my card. You may want it. Goes home, realizes that he's a huge loser, and then he also realizes that his little sister does actually love him, so he shouldn't get rid of her. He shouldn't dump her like the trash. He kind of thought she was. She didn't. He actually think he's trash. But he also, every single night, okay, this is how weird this dude is. Every single night, he takes like sleeping pills, and a poster on his ceiling, in front of it, like on top of his bed. There's a poster of Nebraska, and he listens to like sounds of the forest because he wants to go back to the same dream every single night so he can try and find more details about who took his little brother when he was little. For his dreams, for his screams. And then after that, all right, he starts to work at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. It's like shitty, as you can imagine. Falls asleep. The kids start to talk. They start to talk to him in his dreams. Okay, and so the kid, like children, random ass children show up in bro's fucking dreams. Okay, and they're like, hey dog, what you doing? And he's like, hey, where's my fucking brother? And then they book it because he's a freak, and he starts booking it after them. Trips, falls, almost dies, wakes up, everything's wacky. And basically it continues like that for a while. A bunch of people die, and whatnot. Anyways, it's the same Five Nights at Freddy's shit. Obviously, there's dead children in the fucking animatronics. They wake up. They do crazy stuff. It's one of those movies that's like the power of children. It's the movie is basically, you've seen the thing before. The adults and their cynical eyes can't see through the mystical magical wonder of what children can see, and so that's why he needs his little sister to be able to speak to the dead children inside of the animatronics to be able to relieve them of their torment. Because only they can speak to them in because she can speak to them in like a real way, right? And she speaks to them with pictures, and she has them kill another guy by drawing a picture of them being sad and the guy she wanted them. Basically it's like Five Nights at Freddy's Death Note, where she gets them to kill this guy because he controls them with mind control by having a picture of them really liking him, but like on the wall on the inside of the like Five Nights at Freddy's, but like Slapjaw, that guy who's like killed all the kids, he keeps it there to be able to control them, but like Lockjaw, the guy, is then killed because the little sister Abby was able to draw a picture of the children in the animatronics being killed, and that's how and then she rips down the picture of them being happy and puts up the picture of them being killed, and they're like, damn, shit, I remember, we gotta fucking kill this claptrap guy. And then that's when they then beat the fuck out of him by piercing his rib cage with animatronic pincers, and then grinding his face into meat. Makes perfect sense to me. I will literally send you a Doug X Matt Pack fan art. Oh yeah, so a couple of YouTubers were in there. The first YouTuber to show up is when the bitch aunt and the babysitter that Mike has for Abby, his little sister, is there with like some other guys that she knows, and basically they're all in on trying to get this guy to lose his job so it's easier to convince the court. To give Abby to the bitch aunt, right? Basically. And then at that diner, Matt Pat shows up and he's like, hey guys, what's going on? Can I get you anything? And they're like, no, bitch, fuck off. And he's like, oh, well, you know what they say, breakfast is the best meal. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And they're like, is that true? And he goes, well, it's just a theory. Let me know if you need anything. And I'm like, oh, all right. I see how this is. I see it. Yo, Matt Pat, yo. You're right. It's just a theory. And then he leaves. Let me know if you need anything. And then he gets out of there. I think I can show you Matthew Patrick, Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Hey, welcome to Spark.
Oh my God, it's him!
Is that Freddy Fazbear?
It's Matt Pat. It's just
Oh, it is Matt Pat.
You do realize that lunch is the most important meal of the day.
Thought it was breakfast.
Some people say that, but you know, it's just a theory.
Oh, it goes so hard. The line goes so, it's just a theory. And then let me know if you need anything. Oh man, it's just a theory. Is that Mr. Fazbear? He did the thing? He did do the thing. I love the thing. Boy, I love that thing. Holy shit. Why'd you do that to us? It's really good. Okay, it's good. Anyways, with that being said, I think it's not a good movie. it's like basically the whole thing. I don't know. So I talked about some of this where like it's a fun movie. I mean, I laughed at parts of it, but not really because it was trying to be funny, but it's just like it's just goofy. It's just goofy, right? There's a scene, okay? There's a scene, all right, where like, okay, so apparently the little kids can talk to the main character in his dreams. And I think that, I mean, that's interesting, I guess. But then there's like a cop, okay? And the cop is the daughter of the guy who killed the kids originally. And apparently she's just like, she's kind of begrudgingly working for her dad, who's also, so the guy who kills the kids is also the guy who works in is also the guy who works by giving in the career center, giving people jobs, and the jobs that he gives is basically like the Five Nights at Freddy's, the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza security job, right? So like not only is he like a killer in his spare time and then maybe also owns the pizzeria, but he also gets people there by like working there. But the thing is, I saw this guy like once. Honestly, I didn't. Okay, has anybody watched the movie? Did I miss something? But I don't remember them ever being like, "Oh my gosh, it's you," like the same guy. I didn't register that was the same guy. He showed up more than once. I mean, I guess because like there was the original time when he went to the career center, and then there was like another time when he went back after he said he could work nights. But did he show up more than that? So yeah, it was so there was that. I don't know, like the guy just kind of felt like he just came out of nowhere, because you don't see him for like basically an hour and a half in the movie. And you don't really hear about him ever again either. The only thing about it is that he has like a little ominous scene right after you're done seeing him, and that's basically it. Clearly, every time they showed that scene with Mike's brother in the car, duh, he was right there. He was, oh, like the back of his head. Oh, I guess it was like the back of his head every single time that was being half covered by the brother in the back of the seat. He was right there. So I don't know. I felt like that was poorly foreshadowed if they were trying to foreshadow it at all. I actually don't know if they were trying to foreshadow it at all. I genuinely don't know. So that felt like it just kind of jumped out of nowhere. And then one thing that they were not. Yeah, and then like another thing was that, okay, so so bro, our main character is just like a terrible guy. And I also don't know if he even overcame the problems that he had in the movie. Because the problem that he had to overcome, his ghost, right? If we're going to talk in like literary terms, his ghost was the like feeling of inadequacy and responsibility for his parents killing themselves after his like little brother got snatched, and his little brother getting snatched, right? And he felt like it was his fault for all of that stuff happening. It was to overcome that trauma. That was his ghost. I don't know if he ever actually overcame his ghost. It's not really touched on that much. And what I mean by that is, so like at the climax, basically Abby goes there. Sorry. He brings Abby, his little sister, there because the fucking, okay, he like, because the fucking animatronics killed his babysitter and the other dudes that she brought along to fuck up Freddy Fazbear's the inside so he would get fired for negligence, and then they were blaming him for And so they plan to blame him for leaving a door unlocked because he likes to take sleeping pills on the job, saying that somebody broke in when he wasn't paying attention when he should have been on the job, right? But they got killed by the animatronics while they were trying to do that. And then he comes back. I just think it's super weird because he comes back and then they're like, he doesn't find any bodies whatsoever. Like there's no bodies that he finds at all. And even though one of them died right outside of his door, and I'm like, okay, I guess you can say that even though they didn't show it, I guess the animatronics just like dragged them away or something, but before he came back. But also like what happened to all of the blood? Like the animatronics can't clean the blood. And you say Vanessa was cleaning it up? She was forced to clean up her father's mess? Okay, but I don't know that. That wasn't said in the movie. It was just gone. That's just a theory. That is literally just a theory. I guess you can infer that was what was going on, but we don't know if that's actually what was going on. Because they didn't foreshadow it, they didn't show it or anything. We see the body. I'm talking about when he was cleaning the place up. Like that, like the massive amount of blood that comes from like a guy getting his face eaten off, and a girl being cut in half. And stuff like that. Listen, what I'm saying is that I don't know if she cleaned it up. You can maybe infer that she cleaned it up because she's in the place sometimes and can get in. But I don't know if she did. I don't know. I really don't know. I can guess. It's literally just not confirmed. I don't know. I think it's weird. But sure, I guess that's a plausible theory. We literally see it later. Wait, we see her cleaning up the bodies? Or what? Does she say that she cleaned up the blood in the bodies? We see the bodies. What? Okay. I'm not saying that we never see the bodies. I know we see the bodies. I remember it. After he gets seriously injured. I remember that. Also, I remember he saw the bodies. Ooh, after they kidnapped him, and tried to turn him into a Freddy Fazbear robot too. The entire community's rooting for you. That's a rewatch. Yeah, rewatch for the thematic metaphors and analysis. But the body shark, did you see the bodies? Being gaslit by chat? Hey babe. In the movie, is the first time we see the bodies of the people that were killed when Mike was kidnapped by the robots and almost turned into a Freddy Fazbear? Yeah, as she recalls as well, the first time that we see those bodies after they were killed was after he was kidnapped and in the room where they turned people into Fazbears. Yeah, where they pan over to the bodies and he freaks out, right? My thing is, why would he freak out again after seeing the bodies if he already saw them? He didn't see them. He didn't see them. Listen, I'm gonna stand on this ground as the first time. If there's like a clip of evidence that proves that that's not what happened, then I guess I'll change my tune. But that is the first time we see the bodies after, or any other blood right after. Right? So I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was like really weird. I don't know. I thought it was a bit weird. I like the idea of them using. They use prosthetics and they use like actual practical effects. I thought that was cool. You know, they actually built like they actually build animatronics, and I mean that's cool. That's cool too. Right? I mean that's definitely interesting. So yeah, that was cool. Oh yeah. So while like Mike is busy getting his ass beat by the animatronics because okay, wait, I want to touch on like Mike. All right, I don't know if he actually overcame his demons. It is literally just a theory that he did, but he doesn't really touch on it that much. My thing is, okay, after this, like the reason why he was getting his ass beat by the animatronics is because the animatronic wrote like the kids inside the Fazbears looked into his heart when he was dreaming and found out that he like wants to know more about who took his like little brother. He's able to finally talk to them, and then they show him a dream where he can live in the dream world forever where his little brother is. All he needs to do is like give them his little sister so they can kill her, and so they can slam and cram her inside of a Freddy Fazbear robot, so she can live with them for the rest of time because she's really nice to them. And you know what? He said okay. He said you got it. He said absolutely. So not only once but twice in the movie, because he also agrees with like the aunt at a point in time in the movie to give up his little sister. He said, "Yeah, I guess I'll give up my little sister and give her to the bitch aunt." Okay? And then after that, he also again said okay when it came to giving up his sister and giving them to literally dead ghost children to murder. He actually says, "Okay, I'll give you my little sister. All right." It's genuinely, he's actually one of the worst people to ever exist. I can't lie to you. But then after he says yes, he goes, "God damn, wait a second. That doesn't sound like a good idea. I actually don't want to do that. I just realized what I just said, and that's actually really bad. Yo, dog, I kind of take it back." And they said, "No takesies backsies." And then they tried to kill his little sister and also tried to kill him as well. All right. Sexist main character. They cannot do suspension of disbelief. It's just a bad movie. I'm not suspending my disbelief. I would have to levitate it. Okay, I would have to start. My belief has to fly like Superman. I can suspend my disbelief. I watched the Spider-Verse movies over the last 2 days, and I can suspend my disbelief about them being able to walk like on walls while they have shoes on, even though their suit is supposed to not have any shoes on, so their spider grippers can go through their toes and cling on outside of the suit onto the walls. Okay, I can suspend my disbelief there. I can't suspend my disbelief when it comes to this shit. It's not even really suspending my disbelief. It's just it's just bad writing. It's just bad writing. It's just bad movie writing. It's genuinely wild. All right. So the reason why I don't know if he overcame it is because he says, "Wait a second. No, I don't want to give up my older sister to be murdered by dead ghost children inside of a rundown Chuck E. Cheese knockoff." And then they go, "We don't like that answer," and then tried to kill him and then take like his sister anyways. He then frees his little sister by attacking the animatronics with water and stun guns and like tasers and cow prods and shit like that, because the electricity shorts their circuits apparently. And I was like, okay, that's the wrong answer. Right? And I was like, okay, sure, I guess. He saves her, but the thing is, like, his little sister then goes on to be like, "Oh yeah, they tried," like, she realizes that they tried to kill her, and then they like try to get out, but then Slam Jam came up and is like, "I'm gonna stab you and your little sister," and then the security guard who's always fucking there and honestly flirting with the main character constantly is like, "Daddy, no, Daddy, don't do this. And then he fucking stabs her and like passes out instead. Little sister then, like I said, draws the picture of them being mad at the guy, and they fucking kill him. And then they get out. But the thing is, it's never the little brother thing is like never talked about again. The only thing that I think that he did was, listen, some people are going to infer that him, like, they just don't talk about his little brother again means that he overcame it. I don't know if he actually did. I really don't, because he was supposed to overcome it once before, but then he went back. He relapsed, but I don't know if he actually did get over it, because he doesn't talk about it. He doesn't. Okay, here's the thing. What I thought would be a great design choice for the movie, or like storytelling choice. Originally, the security guard throws away his sleeping pills, basically signifying him like forcing him to move on, but then he goes back to buy more sleeping pills, and then he does it over again, and that's when he gives up his little sister to the literal demons. Okay, but I don't know, I thought it would be really poetic if at the end he threw away his medicine, his sleeping medicine himself, but he just doesn't talk about it. They just don't worry about it anymore. It's just never talked about again. Like the poster, he doesn't bring, I don't think I mean, I guess he didn't bring back the poster, but we don't know if he never brought back the poster. Actually, it's just not talked about again at the end. And he doesn't say sorry to he doesn't really say sorry to his little sister for like, see, he doesn't tell his little sister that he almost sold her soul to literal demons. He just doesn't mention that part to her. And then at the end, she's like, "Can we visit them?" And she's like, "Well," and she's the little sister that almost got killed is like, "Can we visit the demons again?" And he's like, "Well, I guess maybe, you never know what could happen." Right? And you know what the crazy thing is? That scene when they talk about visiting the demons and the animatronics again is in the same living room where babe, what do you think the chances are that apparently Golden Freddy guy killed the bitch aunt? Okay, here's the thing. The bitch aunt was then supposed to be the fucking babysitter for Abby, the little girl, okay, while Mike was at work. But here's the thing, while she was there, a new Freddy comes up who looks like the normal Freddy, but he has one ear missing. He comes up and then whoops her ass. We don't see what happens. All we see is that like the Fazbear appears behind her. Nothing personnel kids her with the lights flashing in the house. Switch to Abby. The little kid like that's inside the costume goes, "Yo dog, come with me. We can have some fun." And then as they're walking out, the bitch aunt is laying face down like on the floor in front of the couches, and we can't see her head or the top half of her body. She's laid out like a fucking Simpsons character after falling down the stairs, and then the kid is like, "Oh, don't look at that. She's just sleeping," right? And then she goes, "Okay," and then and that's the last we see of her. Okay, that's the last we see of her. There's no, you can't. I'm going to say there's a good chance that bitch is fucking dead. Okay, that she killed her. And I was like, yo, this actually is a great. When it happened, it actually blew me away. I was like, this is actually a really good story chance, like story like telling opportunity. Because what I thought was going to happen is that Mike, our main character, gets blamed for killing her because the Fazbear did it, and then there's like, because she's gone, but now there's more strife with like the law coming after him, because there's now a dead body in his living room of his aunt, and there's proof that he has a motive for killing her because she was like threatening to take away his little sister from him, right? I was like, oh, that's actually a really good point. It's never touched on again. Gone. Never fucking touches on it. She's just, I guess she got knocked out. Like she Golden Freddy Fazbear fucking decks her in the back of the head. She wakes up like, oh, must have been the wind, and then leaves. And then nobody talks about it and nobody cares. Nobody talks about how she just passed out in the back. Apparently she didn't see anything, or it just doesn't matter, or maybe they just want to save it into the next like movie that they want to make, because I know they want to turn this into like a franchise. And it's just I like nobody mentions it. Nobody mentions her again. They don't mention how he's delinquent with money. He quits the Fazbear place, so he's still jobless. So we don't know if he ever like is able to act. They might, if they make another movie, bro might be fucking homeless because they got kicked out of his house. He's still poor. He's still broke. We don't know if he gets another job. We don't know what happened to his aunt. Oh, and he doesn't talk about. Okay, we don't know if the bitch aunt is dead, but we know for a fact that his old babysitter is dead as fuck, cut in half, actually. And he just doesn't mention it. This lady that's apparently supposed to be his friend, that's literally doing work for him all the time to watch his little sister while he's at work, right? Who he knows on like who he knows on like a personal basis. He's friends with, they hang out, you know, they spend time together. He sees her dead body cut in half, all right? And he just doesn't care. He never mentions it. It slipped his mind. He sees her dead body in his job and goes, damn, that's crazy. My bad. He doesn't even go, damn, that's crazy. He just goes, like if you see somebody being weird on the bus. He had the same reaction that you would have if you lived in New York City and saw somebody being weird on the subway. And then he just left. Well, that just happened. Yes, he literally has a that just happened reaction to seeing 5 dead bodies in his workplace. And I'm just like, what the fuck? He never talks about it. He never mourns her. The thing is, he doesn't even know that she was against him. So there's no reason for him to be like, fuck, that bitch is gone. All he knows is that a really nice lady that does that like spends her time watching his little sister while he's at work just got cut in half by robots. And bro goes, at the end of the movie, goes, I guess we can see them again sometime. Bro, what? Yo, he's a terrible person. He's crazy. What the fuck? He owed her money. Yeah, I guess he's like, well, at least I don't have to pay her again. Crazy. Genuinely insane. This movie, I swear, it's actually crazy. So yeah. The Vanessa girl is weird too. The Vanessa girl is weird. Like the cop lady, she's like flirting with the main character like 24/7, right? But he's like, nah. Actually, but nothing really happens with it. I don't know. Oh yeah, so this cop lady who's like been helping them the entire time, she gets stabbed in the abdomen, okay? Almost bleeds to death and is in the hospital, okay? She's on like a ventilator. That's how bad that he did her. And the thing is, we don't know if she's okay. We just see her in the hospital at the end. She's just in the hospital on a ventilator. He goes, thanks for helping me, man. Abby says hello and then leaves the hospital. And then that's just it. And that's all the thanks that she gets for doing that. She's gonna come back just like Slaptrap. Okay, but like, I don't know. I don't give movies a pass by leaving plot holes open to just so you can get me to try to watch the next movie. Like finish your food. Finish the things that you start in this movie. I hope you know this is exactly how I tell my mom about movies. It's just, well, that's a theory. And apparently And it like and apparently another YouTuber was in there as well. Corey Kenshin, is that his name? Some YouTuber, his name is Corey Kenshin, and he was in the movie, and he was a taxi driver, and he drove one of the animatronics and the little sister around. Biggest crime was Markiplier wasn't in it. Markiplier big time them. They asked Markiplier to be in it, and he said, "No, I'm busy." He said, "No, I'm busy. Get somebody else." Technically, that's true to how the game presented the story. Okay, but that's ass. So I guess the movie and the game are both ass together. At least they can live in ass together. That's poetic. He dodged a bullet, it seems. Listen, the movie was a box office success. And listen, what I said this to the GF after we finished the movie. The movie is food for Five Nights Frogs. If you like Five Nights at Freddy's, this movie feeds you good. Okay? They give you everything that you want. If you like, if you want that shit, okay? If you want your favorite YouTubers who play the shit there, all right. If you like to see the animatronics going, okay. If you like to see them kill and eat people, right? If you like all of that shit, if that's what you want and that's what you need, then it just gives it to you. It's like a crowd pleaser. But I don't think it makes any motion at all to get anybody who's outside of the bubble of already liking Five Nights at Freddy's to like Five Nights at Freddy's. Okay. It does literally nothing to get me to really care about this story very much. It just kind of doesn't. I hate to say it. So if you like it, if you like Five Nights and you're a big lore head and you find yourself watching 12-hour long Five Nights at Freddy's lore videos that have like 37 million views on YouTube, then this is the movie for you because you'll just like it. If you're not, then don't watch it because you'll probably think it's giga ass unless you're high and you think it's fun. But it was fun while watching it. I guess I was like, okay, what next? It was fun to be like, what the hell are they gonna? What are they gonna try and pull? What are they gonna try and pull next? Rest in peace, bitches. He's calling your shit ass. It is ass. And that's okay. You know, some things, some things can just be ass sometimes. The animatronics did look cool. I mean, it looked like they turned. Here's the. You know those Warner Bros movies, like the Looney Tunes movies or whatever, where there's like live action in them. So it's like Betty Boop right next to like a taxi driver and he's like, "Hey, you look good, Toots," but she's supposed to be cartoony. It's kind of like they did that. They took the cartoon, but then they tried to draw it for real in like real life. That's what it kind of looked like. I think it probably would have, I don't know. I'm not going to say it would have been better if it was like one of those movies, but it's just like the distress on, okay. It was like okay. The animatronic suits themselves and the wear on them was like cosplay wear. It was the type of wear that I would imagine I would see at like a Comic-Con or like a game convention type thing. You know what I mean? Like they didn't look like real. It didn't look like actual damage and like a real that a real robot would take over time of distress. It looked like it looked like you mimicking what cartoon distress looks like on a cartoon robot. And I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. It's all super cartoony, right? Like like the animatronics when they move their head, they're like And when they're like looking around or they're like, oh, what's going on? They go from the open eye to like the half eye. You know, when they go, hey, they go like, hey. That's when you know they're mad, or that's when you know they're looking, or that's when you know they're inquisitive, because they always go, hey. You know, they do like the half eye thing, but like the eyelid comes half down and they look kind of mad. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, here we go. Would look better if it was animated. Many things would look better if it was animated. But anyways, it was all right. Did you enjoy it, baby? She said it was okay. So the girlfriend said it was okay. So she enjoyed herself. So I enjoyed myself. So that's basically it. What? Yeah. Yeah, the bunny one look weird. Like it was. It doesn't have, oh yeah, they don't have eyebrows, so yeah, Bonnie doesn't have eyebrows, so it looked weird every time it was looking. It was supposed to be scary.
When Mike was going into the, he was like, he looked like he was malfunctioning. He was like this and like.
Yeah, it was all weird. I've never seen a more scathing review just for it to be given an okay. No, I wouldn't watch it again. I think it's like no, I said it's ass. Okay, it's ass. But I'm not like I was a little angry after I watched it for some bits, but then I was like, okay. Like, I don't know. It's not, I'm not like seething about it. I'm not like walking around my room, like stomping and going like this about the movie, because it's just a movie. I really don't care. It's a movie literally made, it's a children's horror movie. I actually don't care that much. It's a horror movie made for children. Like, I wasn't expecting it. I never expected the movie to really be good. General rating out of 10, feel like a light to decent 3. 2. I'd give it like a 2. Maybe 1.5, 2. Something like that. Which seems to be about what like everybody else would give, because the I think the Rotten Tomatoes rating is like 29%. So strong 1, light 2. Yeah, something like that. Strong 1, light 2. It sets some things up that I think could have been cool or could have been like emotional, but it just doesn't do anything with them. It just does not do anything with them, and I don't know. And so it gets points knocked off because I think it's offensive to my time. It like the movie purposefully wasted my time with all that type of stuff. But I can see what they were looking for. I think they had some juice, they just didn't squeeze it well. There was an entire row of children in front of us while we were watching it. There was an entire row of children behind us while we were watching it, and they were laughing throughout the movie. They were actually cackling. Right, babe? Yeah, the kids behind us. Yeah, they were laughing during the movie. Yeah, well, us. They were less scared than you. The girlfriend, she was kind of spooked. Honestly, she did not like some of the more like graphic scenes. The kids were cackling. They were like, that shit's hilarious. Like 10 years old? Yeah, like between like 9 and 13. What you think about Toji and the new JJK episode? Peak. Genuinely peak. One of the best episodes ever made. But also every episode with Toji is one of the best episodes ever made, because Toji always does something cool. Gege loves Toji. Mappa loves Toji. But Mappa loves all the JJK men. You know? All the love they gave to Nanami, all the love they gave to Toji. Like they love those boys a lot. But yeah, I admit I was a little spooked. Listen, it's Five Nights at Freddy's, okay? It's jump scare bait. 90% of the horror in the movie is like a character going, and then a zoom in on an empty like spot, and then a character going, and then the zoom in and then going, and then it like lingers on like the empty spot for like 3 seconds, and then it goes ooga booga, and then that's basically it, right? I promise that's like 80% of what's supposed to be scary in the movie. Lazy horror? Well, it's Five Nights. It's supposed to be lazy. That's literally all. It's just like a lazy Five Nights is a fucking lazy flash game that blew up because children enjoy it. And like, I mean, that's fine. I didn't expect it to be anything besides like a lazy flash game that with like, you know, that children enjoy, with like ramshackle lore, air quote lore. But besides that, I mean, you know, if that's what it is, if that's what it is, you don't. Not everything should be like a fucking Renaissance painting. Sometimes you got to have something that you just kind of enjoy, and if you enjoy it, then I mean, like it did a job, didn't it? I guess. Yeah. Well, there you go. I don't know if it makes your little cousin, if it makes somebody that you know smile, then well, there you go. It did its job. Not me, but you know, whatever. Obviously not made for me, so who cares? I gave him money anyway, so I guess he gets the last laugh. Anyways, I guess we do a little. I guess we can talk to this guy. This guy wants to talk. Browse channels. I don't know. It was just, I don't know. It was really something else. It was one of those movies that definitely are something else. Fool's Rules. Okay. I don't know. Who's this guy? His name is Tom Foolery Show, it seems. I've yet to see a kids movie write a story better than Megamind. Hello?
Mr. Shark.
Hello, can you hear me? I don't think he can hear me. Here, give me a second.
Oh.
Input device. Can you hear
Are you
me?
there? Oh, yes. Now I hear you.
All right, what's good, bud?
How's it going, man?
I'm chilling. Vibing. We talked about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Oh, nice. I don't know anything about it.
Oh, you don't? You know the Five Nights head? You don't love Mr. Fazbear and his pizza?
Yeah, no. I don't even know what you're talking about. Unfortunately.
That's so sad.
I know,
when you were younger,
I know some kids who play a video game called Five Nights at Freddy's. Is that the same thing?
Yeah, it's the same thing. They made a movie about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of a boomer. So.
That's okay. When you were younger, did you ever go to Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
That's incredible. Did you have a favorite character? Was it Chucky?
Yeah, it was Chucky.
Okay. You ever eat the pizza?
Yeah.
So
love the pizza.
What do you think about the theory that the pizza is actually made of different pizzas, but when kids don't eat all the pizza, they take it back and then form a new pizza of the different pizza chunks, and that's why the pizza slices look like they don't match sometimes?
I think, as far as I understand, that would be against health code. That would be a massive health code violation.
I don't know. They could wash the pizza before they put it back.
You said you don't think they will?
No, I mean they could just wash the pizza.
Yeah, true. Just
Yeah,
put it through the dishwasher real quick.
They give it a little rinse. It's possible.
It's possible, I suppose. No, I'll have to look into this theory.
Good. That's very important. But you DM'd me the other day. Could you let the people know what you wanted to talk about and what we're here for?
Yeah, so you talked to Matt Walsh recently. You had a video a while ago where you did like a review of like a thing that came out from Media Matters. And I happened to review your video doing that, as well as like Vosh's, TYT's, Majority Reports. And then you brought it up when you went and talked to Matt Walsh this time. And I have like a huge disagreement with the way that Media Matters framed that entire situation. I want to be clear.
Like the way they wrote the article?
Yes. Okay. I'm not a fan of Matt Walsh in any way. Like most of my debates are about gender and like explaining how gender works and why trans women are women through like a very real linguistic lens, and I spend most of my time debating why kids with gender dysphoria should be transitioning at younger ages and why this is a good thing and why most people are just spreading misinformation about this stuff. So I am in no means a fan of Matt Walsh whatsoever, and I don't support his crusade against trans people or trans kids. But the article from Media Matters was
just
about
don't be too mean. He is a friend of the stream.
Okay, fair enough. But I do have an issue with the way the Media Matters wrote this article about him, where they're trying to make it out as though he's advocating for 16-year-old girls to get pregnant, and that as though they should be getting pregnant by adult men as well. People like Vosh frame this as like him being a pedophile. Same with Majority Report and other platforms, and it was like the issues that I have with Matt Walsh and the way that he puts out misinformation and the way he kind of leaves out context was the same issue that I had with all of them doing the same thing back to him. And so when you asked him, well, hey, you are in favor of like 16-year-olds getting pregnant and being adults and all of this shit, I felt like this was a little bit misframed from how that actually happened. It was like the article was written about a radio show that he did a long time ago and stuff that he said there.
In like 2013, 2014?
Yeah. And it was
so my question was about, I've been seeing him talk. He's been like one of the pioneers of calling trans people pedos for wanting to quote unquote indoctrinate children and whatnot. And he's been quoted as saying multiple times that, you know, these types of people, they're children. They're just simply children, and talking to them about this stuff is a form of grooming, pedophilia, whatever, right? And if that was the case, my question was, why in the past would you advocate for these types of things being sort of natural and normal when it comes to relationships for people this young, even including sexual ones where you can even possibly, where people can get pregnant for the same exact age of people? Why would you consistently call these people children when referring to their interactions with trans people and, in his air quote, trans ideology, but constantly advocate for the idea of these people being this age throughout society, through the history of society, being adults who can be expected to make adult decisions if you give them the leeway and opportunity to. I didn't call him a pedophile at any point, even though I know you didn't.
You didn't. You are correct.
Okay, yeah, I didn't call him a pedophile at any point in time. I don't think I even referred to him being a pedophile or wanting to impregnate children. I mean, that was my question. In you typically say these people are children when referring to trans people, but these people can easily be adults when referring to things that usually conservatives like pregnancy and marriage and jobs and whatnot. So what was the problem?
So you did mention as well that that he advocated for 16-year-olds to get married and get pregnant because he does say that like they're practically adults. In his video where he talks about this, he says they're adults who can make decisions. Nobody can convince me otherwise. But he also goes on to say that like they shouldn't make these decisions until they're 18. And his issue is that they're like people treat them like they're kids until they're 25, but that like they're capable of making these decisions. They just shouldn't until they're 18. And so he still has this like belief that they should wait until they're 18 to be able to make long-term decisions about their lives. And I think most of us believe to some extent, like 16-year-olds are capable of deciding whether or not to have kids with, whether or not to have sex with people, and they're able to make like a lot more decisions for themselves. But it's on a scale where like we think they have faculties to consent to things. We just want them to wait until they're 18 because they're still like going to school. They have like a lot more things that they should be getting done before they're making long-term decisions of that sort and consenting to things of that sort. And even in your review afterwards, you still kind of stuck by the point that when he says like, yeah, I was never saying that like they can that they should make these decisions to like get married or get pregnant at 16. You kind of stuck by that in your review of it as well.
It's my thing is it's less of an idea of it's less of an idea of should and more of an idea of can. Like if we say these people can make decisions about whether or not to take puberty blockers, he will disagree. If we say 16-year-old, if somebody says 16-year-olds can make the decision to be impregnated, then he'll agree with that. Whether or not he thinks that he should, he believes that they can. And he believes that these people are adults who can make adult decisions like that.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I agree with that hypocrisy part of it. It was more so the part where you're adding in that they can like, or I guess, yeah, that because.
Well, I think I said that you said in quote that these people can make decisions. They are adults who can make these decisions. I don't think I said that he wants all 16-year-old girls to be impregnated or like included adults in there. I think it specifically stipulated that he said specifically with like other like 16, 17-year-olds. He said specifically that these people are when talking on his radio show, he said that these people he caught himself calling 17-year-olds children, and then he corrected himself and he says adults. These are adults. When talking about a 17-year-old boy, he was like adult man who can make these type of decisions, like go to like to go to work, because he's also super lax on child labor. He believes that child labor laws should be amended. He doesn't believe in the idea of like adolescence. I mean, like in several of his writings that he's made on this, he's talked about the idea of adolescence being a modern plague, and that these people can start making decisions like this younger than 18. And I think he even called it, in quote, while the poor middle class mothers and fathers struggle to make ends meet, we legally prohibit teenagers from working and helping their family financially until they reach the frivolous threshold of 16. So it's not even like the word arbitrary. He uses specifically the word frivolous.
Okay, yeah, I mean, if you're saying that it's not about the should and it is just about the can, I guess I don't necessarily disagree with that. That wasn't really what I took away from it when I was watching it, but if that's and I could totally be wrong, but if
I don't know, I just don't really feel like these.
I don't know that I have much of a disagreement then.
Okay, well, I mean, when it comes to so we have that. When it comes to the should question, I mean, even his idea of like, I don't know, I think his idea of should is different than like other things. It's a really light shouldn't. It's not like a really strong, I'm super against this type of shouldn't, because he believes that these people are of age to make these type of decisions. It'd just probably be best that they didn't, type things. But he's even advocated for the idea that child pregnancy when you're 16, 17 is not necessarily in and of itself a problem, and it's that they're unmarried is the real problem. Like doesn't sound like a very big doesn't sound like a very big condemnation to me. It just seems like an inconvenience more than anything else, which I think is a much larger problem.
He does say at one point in that video that like the problem isn't necessarily child pregnancy, but out of wedlock pregnancy. But then he goes on to say, like, I'm not advocating for like 16-year-olds to get pregnant at all. I think he says it 2 or 3 times. Like, I don't think 16-year-olds should get pregnant, or I don't think people should get pregnant before 18. And so that was like part of my issue with the way that Media Matters did this, is that they took a bunch of quotes from him. But if you watch the video, he gives a ton of caveats to those quotes and explains farther past that, to where his overall point was that people are treated like children until they're 25, and meaning like until they get out of college, which I agree with. I think that people should wait until they have degrees and they have their life together and they have careers and they're kind of settled before they start getting married and having kids and making those sorts of decisions. But his issue was that, yes, we wait until people are 25 and we should start treating them like adults at 18 because they're capable of being treated as adults at 16. We just have societal barriers to where
I don't know. And I mean, he can say 16, but he's been also quoted before that I quoted up there that you can, if you expect a 13-year-old to act like a 23-year-old, they will.
I've heard him say this before. I think I agree with this to some extent. I know a bunch of kids who were immigrants and their parents didn't speak a lick of English, and so their kids had to do everything for them, all of their bank stuff, all of the transactions at stores, do all this shit. Those were the most mature kids I've ever met in my life. They acted like full-grown adults. They were kind of forced into that, and that's not convenient. That's not good. We kind of in America, thankfully, allow kids to be kids for a long period of time and have fun, and we're very privileged.
Do you think that Matt Walsh would think that that's not good?
I don't know. Again, I'm not really advocating for Matt Walsh's like that he's like a good character, more so that I feel like I'm just explaining
why I think what I think about this, because I don't think that he would think that's bad, because he's also quoted in saying, quote, in the same writing where he claimed that adolescence was a modern plague, he said, quote, I started working when I was 13 mowing lawns at a competitive price. Little did I know that I was a victim of oppressive child labor. If I had realized then, maybe I would have told my parents, and they likely would have responded by saying something like, yeah, and why shouldn't a child do some labor? End quote. I just don't think these are things that he would really disagree with that strongly. I mean, I think in public when he's at conferences, he would say things like, well, yeah, I'm really not against this, and not dig into it like too far. But I really just don't think these, if it would happen that much, or it would happen like that, I just don't think that he would really care that much. But when it comes to trans issues, this guy is like dedicating his entire life to it.
Yeah, again, I agree with the hypocrisy between his positions. It's more so the positions being taken to mean something different than what I think he's saying at the time within context. Like, we take a lot of these quotes of him saying something like, oh, 13-year-olds will act like a 23-year-old if they're treated like a 23-year-old. That's when we're putting that in the context of, also he says that 16-year-olds are pretty much adults and could consent to getting married and these sorts of things. Like, when we're putting all of these quotes together, it makes it sound like he's saying things that he's not. I don't think he's actually saying. And when you go look at each instance of what he's saying within context, it's the things that he's saying are fairly agreeable and normal statements.
I wouldn't necessarily say they're very agreeable and normal. I mean, I think, like you said, I also believe
I brought up reasons why I agree with these, and you haven't disagreed with my reasoning for agreeing with those.
All right. Okay, well here. I think that I have. Well, it's more like in the context of the way that he's saying it and the subject matter and what he's advocating for the stuff inside of. I think it just builds a picture of his character and the things that he agrees and disagrees with that he hasn't gone into fully. And you also agree that there is a hypocrisy here.
Yes, I like I said, I agree with the hypocrisy part. But when we're talking about whether or not a 13-year-old will act like a 23-year-old, yes, I gave like an explanation of why I think this makes sense and why I've seen this within my life. And when I explain this, most people turn around and say, "Oh yeah, I've seen the same thing. Like I know what you're talking about. I guess I agree with that too." Same thing with 16-year-olds pretty much being adults. Like they're throughout history, there's been a lot of periods where they were treated as adults and they were making decisions, and that like in our society we've just built things to where it is more convenient to allow them to grow up more and give them more time to be kids and give them more time to get their lives together before having to make long-term decisions. And
Which is good.
when I go through these things, yes, but when I go through,
But he doesn't think they're good.
giving those explanations, I don't feel like you're disagreeing with those explanations of why in those contexts those statements make sense.
I just don't think those things are good. Like 12-year-olds going to work in the mines is not good. That wasn't good for society. Like all these cultures with child into adult initiations that he brings up, those aren't really good. Those aren't necessarily good things. He claims those things are good things that made society better and stronger, and our society is weaker and worse because of it.
I haven't seen those because every time I go look at these statements within context, it doesn't seem like he's actually saying these things are good. He's making descriptive statements about something, and then he'll go on to explain further and give caveats to these statements. But those are never clipped.
I don't know. These caveats seem more like speed bumps than walls in these contexts. So? Well, when we talk about things like when he says things like the frivolous age of 16 being when people are able to work, and 12 and 13, usually 12, 13, 15 being the ages where people are like move into adulthood, and then these same age of people are old enough to be able to make those type of decisions. But I guess they just probably shouldn't. I don't know. It seems more like it seems, I don't know, it seems dog whistly more than anything else. It seems like he believes these things, and if they would happen, they just wouldn't be that big of a deal. But they don't happen, so it's easy to not take a big stand on it. Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm reading. What do you think there's like a problem? Well, here, I don't know. What do you think about that? I'm trying to change the way I talk to people.
Yeah, generally I think that like the way that he's making these statements within context, just normally it makes sense. Like I said, the statements in and of themselves aren't bad statements. But when we take them and just put them next to a bunch of other statements, he's making a bunch of descriptive claims that are agreeable in and of themselves. But when we put them all together, they just sound really bad. And I feel like that's what we're doing a lot. Like with him, I agree. He's a piece of shit. The stuff that he talks about with trans kids and trans people and the propaganda that he puts out on this stuff, what is a woman, is a freaking horrible disgrace of like not even making an attempt to understand what a woman is, and it's just a bunch of propaganda just to make trans people and lefties look stupid.
But okay, but like the thing is, like, he's my thing is that, like, sure, but it's the type of like sort of, oh, I'm just asking questions type thing. Well, I'm just saying a bunch of descriptive statements. Like, it's not about those things being true or not.
But I don't think it is, because again, a lot of times he does go on to actually make the like caveat of like, I'm not prescribing 16-year-olds get pregnant, or like it is good that they wait, or things like this. Like he actually makes the prescriptive later on, but the descriptives are just like minimized in context so that they do sound bad. It sounds like a descriptive that is dog whistly. It sounds like I'm saying it's just okay to be white or something.
No, I don't know. I feel like he minimizes them themselves. He minimizes those caveats himself, especially with, I don't know, the body of work that he's put together on all this type of stuff.
But that's what I'm saying is that, like, with all of this other shit, where I'm talking about how I disagree with him in all of these other areas, I think lots of times we'll take this and say, well, he's a piece of shit. Like, obviously, he's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about here. But then when he's saying things other places, we automatically assume that this is going to the worst possible conclusion. And that now, because he's like a horrible person with horrible beliefs on trans people, which honestly are probably very common in the United States and in the West.
Okay.
But
Sure, but like that seems like more of a problem with other people and not me, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying that we're taking this and extending it to, like, now he has these other really horrible beliefs that nobody else really holds, and we're extending that without ever actually having the evidence of that. It's just we're taking things out of context in order to make that point.
I guess. I don't know. I feel like everything. Sure, I guess. I mean, I'm not gonna lie that other people have probably done that. Just for me personally, I feel like everything is that I said has been based in reality, and even within context is at minimal questionable and very strange for the society that we have today.
Well, I mean, again, I watched your video where you think that he's talking about like child brides and 16-year-olds getting married, but in full context, that's pretty obviously not what he's talking about, and that he's just saying that he doesn't like that. We initially, that video starts off with his co-host talking about the fact that 16 and Pregnant, the MTV show, again, this is from like 2014, and he's talking about the fact that that show is causing this epidemic of 16-year-olds getting pregnant at a really high rate. And Matt Walsh starts talking about this to say, no, that's not the case. Throughout history, 16-year-olds have been getting pregnant pretty much always. There's even as low as 13-year-olds, and that this has pretty much always been the case. It's not a new thing. It's not a new epidemic. It's just a thing that's kind of always happened, because this is when they're like starting to become fertile, and you know that 17 to 25 is their highest fertility rates, and blah blah blah. And so yeah, people take all of those quotes and they're like, oh my goodness, look, he's advocating for these kids to get pregnant. But he's actually pushing back against somebody saying that this is like this new epidemic, whereas like he's saying this is just the way it's always been throughout human history.
Sure. I mean, he said in quote, to all of a sudden act like this phenomenon of girls getting pregnant at a young age, to be considered young, 16 or 17, to act like this is a new thing and ridiculous. It's always been that way, end quote. Mm-hmm. He said that specifically. I don't know. It's just And well, in that okay, wait, video, one moment. I'm not advocating for 16-year-olds to get pregnant, and that they should wait. And I mean, yes, I know that, but you can say that, but also, what do you mean? What do you think he means when he says the real problem isn't that they're getting pregnant; it's that they're not married?
That he thinks that overall, not getting married is like the bigger.
The real problem?
Like, yes, like it's not even just the real problem.
So child pregnancy is a bigger
problem with like not just children but adults as well.
So child pregnancy. Well, I wouldn't even say that this is necessarily child pregnancy because, well, in his mind, because he doesn't believe these people are children.
Yeah, at the time that he said that, I'm pretty sure he was talking about college-age kids too, where he was talking about 25-year-olds and people having to wait until they were out of college in order to get married and move out of their parents' houses, and that they're treated
like 16
like
to 25.
That. And he says, and then that's when he says, like, the real problem isn't, that they're getting pregnant, but that they're waiting, or that they're getting pregnant outside of wedlock.
Yeah, well, 16 to 25, and also talking about the show 16 and Pregnant, and also him saying that and also in context of him saying that there's a new breed of person, which is the teenager, and then also saying that these people this age are adults, and also saying that that the real problem is not child pregnancy, but child non-marriage when pregnancy happens.
Yeah, I don't think he was saying child non-marriage. I think he was saying just people getting married out of wedlock overall. Because again, when he makes that statement, he's talking about college-age kids at that moment. And people having to go to college first before they're treated as though they're capable of making these decisions and moving out of their parents' houses and all of these other things. So
one
when
moment.
yeah.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Again, in the article where they put those quotes next to all of the other things about 16-year-olds, it obviously comes across that way. But in the full context of the video, yeah, he's talking about college-age kids at the moment that that he makes that statement. Though it could still apply to 16-year-olds too, I guess. And I don't want to make it sound like just because he says I'm not advocating for 16-year-olds to get pregnant, or people are going to take me out of context and pretend like I'm advocating for 16-year-olds to get pregnant. That doesn't mean that I think that like he automatically doesn't believe that, because obviously there's tons of people who say like, oh, I love Jews, and they obviously don't really love Jews. I just think that everything he says in those videos are all things that I generally agree with, or at least aren't these horrific statements that would lead me to the conclusion that everybody else comes to, unless I take them out of context and play them separately from everything else that he says.
Yeah, also I found the direct quote. He says, quote, what I'm saying is that the problem is not per se teenage pregnancy, it's unwanted pregnancy that's the real problem in society. He goes on to say, it's only problematic when you're not married and you don't have a man there to help take care of the kids because he's a coward. So I don't know, it just really feels like he's saying the problem with like people who are kids who are 16 and pregnant.
Quote where he's talking about abortion, I guess. But what was the second part of the quote again?
It's only problematic when you are not married and you don't have a man in your life to take care of the kids because he's a coward.
Sure, I don't know that I that's not the only problem to me, but yeah, sure. That's
he said specifically it's the only problem.
That's
a direct quote. Yeah.
Okay. I will have to look at this, because that's can you send that to me real quick?
Okay. Here, give me 1 moment. I'm gonna make sure I have the right one, because I didn't pull all the clips specifically, but
sure.
What? Oh no. Heck. I'll shoot a freak out heck. I believe it's in here. Yeah, what I'm saying is that the problem is not per se teenage pregnancy, it's unwanted pregnancy. That's the problem in society. I feel like this is not uncharitable to read this as him.
I thought he said unwed pregnancy. Is this a transcript of it?
Sorry, but unwed pregnancy. Yeah, no, but unwed pregnancy is.
Okay.
Oh, did I misquote that?
You said unwanted a couple of times. So
I misread it.
I was like, wait, that's about abortion. I
misread it. Unwed. No, unwed pregnancy. It's unwed pregnancy. That's the problem. It's only problematic when a man's not there. I don't know. That doesn't feel like an uncharitable reading of him being like, child pregnancy is not a real problem. It's only a real problem when you're not married and pregnant at 16. In the context of talking about 16-year-old moms.
Yeah, because again, what I remember him making this quote, but he was talking about college kids at the time, from what I understood.
Well, I mean, I guess you can be in college and you can be in college until 16 and 17.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the problem is not per se teenage pregnancy, it's unwed pregnancy.
Well, do you think that's an uncharitable reading from me?
I would say that generally, yeah. I think that from what I understand, at the time he was making this argument, he was arguing that the greater problem is people having kids out of wedlock to where
it's not just people, it's teenagers.
Kids, but yeah, sure. But yeah, that teenagers includes like 18, 19-year-olds as well, that we would generally think of as very differently all of a sudden. But I in this moment, they're talking about 16 and pregnant. So I think that he's probably saying that this is, I think he's saying that it was the bigger problem to him when I listened to it on the video.
Yeah,
He was saying the
with
bigger
like being
problem
16
to
and
him
pregnant,
is unwed pregnancy.
and talking about how he doesn't like the idea of teenagers.
He doesn't like.
Well,
the
I don't think
idea of
he's
teenager.
like some. Let me see if I can pull the direct quote here. One moment. Teen. End quote. In modern Western society, we've delayed the onset of adulthood instead inventing a new sort of human, the teenager. The teenager exists in a limbo in which we've created. We call it adolescence. Adolescence is a state-of-the-art modern invention like crack cocaine or chemical warfare. Well, he goes on to say, take a time machine back to the early 19th century or any century prior, and you won't see it or hear of it. The contemporary Western adolescent would look like an alien species to anyone who lived prior to the 1800s. He is a strange, mysterious creature. He doesn't possess the innocence or natural helplessness of a child, but he isn't expected to assume any of the responsibilities and challenges of an adult. End quote. I mean, that does seem like a pretty scathing review of teenagers, in my mind.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I agree with these statements. Like, generally, this has been true that over the course of history, they have not been treated as kids. They have been treated as adults. And
okay, but he very clearly thinks this is bad, right?
Consenting to things.
But he very clearly thinks this is bad, right?
I don't know. I'm not. That's not what I'm getting from what you're reading. That
but Tom,
it's necessarily bad.
Or Mr. Show. Sure, but like Mr. Show, he compares it to crack cocaine and chemical warfare. I wouldn't compare something that I wouldn't compare my girlfriend to crack cocaine or chemical warfare or something that I like. I wouldn't consider, like, I don't know, video games or comic books or anything to like crack cocaine or chemical warfare. It doesn't. I don't think he would. I wouldn't be like, I love my friend. I got a new friend, just like the world got crack cocaine and chemical warfare. You would either think that I'm being shitty to my friend or I'm making a joke.
Well, so what do those mean? Like, if he says to crack cocaine, I would think that this is like an addictive thing that people enjoy, and that is like a nice time. What is the chemical warfare part supposed to be?
Bad.
It's just that it's bad.
I just think it's a general comparison to bad things that society or humanity has invented over time.
It's possible. Again,
and also specifically it being an invention, not something that's natural to the world, something that we made, and also
These
specifically
are societal constructs.
Okay, sure, that's an invention that we made specifically that makes the world worse. I don't think Matt Walsh thinks crack cocaine made the world better. Or chemical, I don't know, maybe chemical warfare. I don't know. He doesn't seem like a good guy. I don't really think he disagrees with Israel using white phosphorus in Gaza, but
yeah, I'm just I'm not sure that getting more quotes out of context where I don't know what the hell he's talking about, but like the statements in and of themselves seem fine unless yeah, like the crack cocaine. If he had just said crack cocaine, I would say yeah, it sounds like he's saying like this is like a euphoric part of
I think actually that's why he wrote chemical warfare, to make sure that there's no misunderstanding that he hates it. Okay. Like, these are two bad things that all societies should really honestly typically think is bad: crack cocaine and chemical warfare.
Okay, yeah, sure. If this is, let's say this is in context, this is like exactly what he's saying. He's saying that this is horrible, that they are treated like children at 16, then yeah, I guess I agree that this is a dumb statement, because yeah, I like that adolescence is extended to 25 or so. Like, this is an achievement for Western societies that I'm proud of. But
sure,
what I took from,
I guess, but also technically, like extending quote unquote adolescence to all the way to 25 is no less scientifically back than having it at like 12 or what, at puberty age, right? It depends on what you mean by adult. If you might mean by adult like a fully grown human being, then like at least mentally, then yeah, it would usually be around like 23, 25
Mhm.
by definition.
Yeah, of course. But like when I say that these are like socially constructed like aspects of where we put people and the responsibilities that we give them, obviously again, like 16-year-olds have been treated as adults throughout a lot of human history, but
Yeah,
I
but that's
think
not good. I
generally we
think
try to
Matt
make
Walsh
sure
thinks
that
that's
they're
good.
able to graduate high school
Yeah, I think Matt Walsh just
before
thinks that's
we
good.
give them these responsibilities. Okay. Yeah, I'm not so sure of that. I'm not really convinced that he thinks it's good necessarily, but that so this is a thing that happens here, and this is the only reason that I even like pick up on this, is that lots of times we will have these conversations about like human history and how these kids were treated as adults, and that like that they're throughout human history things have been very different for age of consent and getting jobs and all this other crap. And if people took me out of context in those things, and they do, and they have, it sounds like I'm advocating for things that I'm not advocating for when I'm just trying to like talk about something and have like a historical context to a conversation, or just making descriptive claims about a thing. And then yes, it's taken out of context to make it sound like I'm saying something that I'm definitely not saying.
Okay, I just think that if I was gonna take these quotes out, I have to take them so far out of context that'd be on the other side of the galaxy for these things to be pretty disagreeable to your average person, and worth questioning, and also hypocritical in his statements.
It's hard for me to imagine the chemical warfare one. Like, it's hard for me to imagine context where that would make sense. So that's why I'm willing to give you that one, because it's hard for me to imagine some context where this would make sense.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I just don't think he likes adolescence, the idea of adolescence. I think he likes, also, here, wait a second. Also, in that same article, he said that, in quote, back in the old days, there were two types of people in the world: children and adults. You were a child, and then you were an adult, but you really had no choice in the matter. The timeline went like this: phase 1, birth, childhood; phase 2, adulthood; phase 3, death. Right? I just don't. It seems like he goes on a extended tour, taking people through his mindscape and his reasoning for why the idea of teenagers is like crack cocaine and chemical warfare, why it's bad, why it makes society worse, why it makes us weaker, why it makes children worse, well, it makes us as human beings worse, and why these people are old enough to make decisions like being pregnant and holding jobs.
Yeah, I guess to some extent. Like, did you have a job when you were 16?
No.
Okay. I did, and most everybody that I grew up with had jobs at 16 and worked, and I also like was landscaping when I was like.
But he's not really advocating for 16-year. Well, specifically, he doesn't like the quote frivolous age of 16 being when you can work. He likes it. He would like that younger. And I think if I'm going to take specific things that he said, I guess the lowest that we know of, the lowest known age that he thinks somebody should work is 13.
Yeah, maybe. I'm trying to find. This is Mount Walsh blog.
That was a nice flip, right, guys?
It's behind the.
I wish I could skate like this in real life.
Okay, there we go. Take a time machine back to the early 19th century and any prior century where you won't see or hear it. Contemporary Western adolescents would be looked at like an alien species by anyone who lived in any prior area in the 1800s. He is a strange and mysterious creature. He doesn't possess the innocence or natural helplessness of a child, but he isn't expected to assume any of the responsibilities and challenges of the adult. Adolescents can live a life in time past only the children by emperors and pharaohs might have enjoyed. He can spend entire months, generally from June to August, aggressively engaged in doing absolutely nothing. We have to come up with new terms to describe primary function adolescence, hanging out or chilling. Our ancestors would have considered hanging or to be a punitive measure for convicted murderers, took the strength and energy of youth and used it to make strong and energetic young adults. We, on the other hand, suddenly decided that a 16-year-old is really nothing more than an enormous child incapable of being helpful and useful. Yeah, it sounds like he's just saying that they should work from what I'm reading from this. I mean, this is I don't know that I've thought too much about this, but from like the way that I was raised, this is exactly what my parents expected of me when I was like 16, is that I had to have a job and that I couldn't just like take summers off and do nothing. And I don't know if you're a bit more of a lefty, so I assume you have probably we have disagreements on labor for 16-year-olds maybe.
Sure. Here, one second. John Adams, thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate you. I can't do too much. I'm in a talk right now, but thank you. It's not about them being 16. It's like less than 16. Like he thinks like the age of 16 is already too old. I think that's why he calls it a frivolous age for when child labor laws start to let up, right?
What do you mean a frivolous age? Like, again, it sounds like he's saying they are older and more capable than we give them credit for, and that they can and probably should be working jobs.
Well, yeah, but like, yeah, sure, 15, sure, like 13, 14, 15, like those ages, and possibly even younger, right? I mean, he said himself that he was working at 13 and it was not bad. It's not a bad thing. And he also, like, don't you think he would also believe that working at 13 for a 13-year-old would also be not a bad thing? Would be good?
Yeah, it seems as though, yeah, he thinks like 13-year-olds once like post-pubescent ages.
Sure,
should be
yeah,
working.
13 minimum, I guess, like as we know of right now. And I honestly don't think that he'd be too against like a 10-year-olds or something.
I mean, he literally says right here in Amazon's Satir Maui tribe, 12-year-old boys have done ceremonial gloves filled with bullet ants. This is pretty unique, although I've seen.
Oh, that's just him talking about rights into adulthood.
Right. So he's saying that, like, yeah, they become men at these ages.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily what we're talking about here. It's about working.
Right. I'm saying that he's saying that these. Well, I think it's the same. I think that he's saying that they're men at 12.
Well, yeah, in that culture, they're men at 12
because they're men. Yeah.
I think the working thing is just like a different topic. I think it's just a part of his broader adolescent stance.
Well, within religious beliefs, like it's very clear in the Bible that men should work. They ought to work, and that if they do not gain something by the sweat of their brow, then they should starve to death. So I think that this is the point that he's making through like a religious sense, that once you're a man, you should be working and you should be like putting food on the table somehow.
Okay. I mean, yeah, like, I guess the 12-year-old should be working or they're sinning.
Yeah, I do think that. Yeah, so I agree that this is the point that he's making, that he is trying to say that they are men. And
I think that's kind of bad.
Yeah, I agree with this. I don't think that 13-year-olds or 12-year-olds should be working, or that they're men.
Yeah, I think that's bad. The same with like most of his other claims here that I've already disagreed with, and the hypocrisy when he's talking about this type of stuff. But if you ever bring up that like a 16-year-old could consent to starting puberty blockers, he would get on all fours and start screeching.
Yeah, like I do agree that like their brains are developed enough to be capable of doing these things. But again, I appreciate the state of our society to where we can extend adolescence and give people more time.
I just don't think he thinks that's good. I think he thinks that's bad. It makes society worse. Yeah. And that's why he believes these traditional modes of running society are better. I'm not sure if I would say that he would think 12-year-olds being seen as complete adults is is better than the society that we have now, but if it excludes trans people existing, I think he would think about it for a while.
I agree with this. I obviously, again, I agree that he's hypocritical, but we all believe in like scaling adulthood, right? Like we're all okay with
sure, but like it's not about him
sex with other 16-year-olds or getting bank accounts or working jobs. We're okay with like 18-year-olds making more decisions, but like not. They're not able to drink. They can't get like they're going to pay more for car insurance.
Yeah,
like,
but it's more about him being a bad hypocritical person than just being somebody who's weird sometimes.
Sure. And as I said in the beginning, I agree with the hypocrisy. I just don't agree with the idea that he like and you again may not be saying this today, so like I think it's fine, but I don't agree with the idea that he like thinks that 16-year-olds should be having sex with adults or that they should be getting starting families right away or anything like that. I think that there's that there's like more context in those conversations that make it seem differently. And so in the conversation, when you bring it up and he's like, oh, well, I didn't say that, you're bringing it up as though he wants like the 16-year-olds to get pregnant. And I think that's what he was like trying to push back on, is that he didn't say that.
I don't think he was pushing back on 16-year-olds getting pregnant. I think
hypocrisy is true.
I think the only thing he was pushing back on is the idea that it's new, that it's like, that it's new. Like, I don't think he thinks that it's necessarily a really bad thing.
That it's a bad thing that 16-year-olds get pregnant.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, especially with him saying that teenagers getting pregnant, the problem isn't that. It's the fact that they're not married.
Yeah, he's saying that that's not the problem per se, because to him the much bigger problem is out of wedlock pregnancies with adults, and he goes on to like explain that like it's a full societal problem with everybody that kids are being had out of wedlock, and that's more common with teenage pregnancies than any others.
All right, sure. I mean, I don't think we're. I guess we're not like too far off. I mean, yeah, and you agree with the premise of my question to him. I just should have. The only thing that I wish is that I would have asked, Matt Walsh what is an adult?
Yeah, again, because I literally like most of my work is in like advocating for trans people and the explaining the concept of gender. So I am fully on board with making him look like a freaking idiot when it comes to the stupid shit that he says about this stuff. If I was gonna ask him a question, I would say, hey, the concept of like a woman, this is like a linguistic and psychological concept. Why didn't you talk to any linguists or biologists in your video? Why did you go talk to like random tribes and like random gender affirming care people or random trans people instead of actual like authorities on this subject when you're making a video about it? Or why do you think millions of kids are transitioning? that probably would have been the first question. Why do you think millions of kids are transitioning? Why did you say to Joe Rogan, millions of kids are transitioning every year, when you did a whole video on this? You're supposed to be the expert on the right on this, and it's less than 1,000 every year. It's not even 1,000 kids transitioning.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole bevy of questions you could possibly ask him. I like the question I asked, and I do wish that more people, that when he starts doing tours again, that hopefully it inspires people to continue asking this question to get more on it, because I think there's a lot lurking under the surface there that doesn't really want to talk about, that I also don't think he wants to back down on in this whole thing. So yeah, like I don't think he'll have a very good answer on the question of what is an adult, or when does a person become an adult, or like when do you all that type of stuff. Or what does he think about societies where like 15-year-olds are being married off to 20 to 21-year-olds? Because that was the same. I don't know. It seemed like he would say that society. I think it's easy to interpret from here that he would say that society would probably be better than what we have now.
Yeah, I left religion within the last year, but I grew up in a very fundamentalist Christian household, and so a lot of the things that he's talking about are like fundamental to Christianity and things that are ingrained in you at an early
But my
age.
idea, but
So it
my
could
thing
be
is,
that I'm
I don't really care about
indoctrinated
people.
as like a
Sure, but my thing is, I don't really care about the fact that people believe it. I know human beings in the world believe it. I think it's bad,
Mhm.
and that's why I wanted to call him out on it.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I agree with the hypocrisy point, and I think like I agree with most of the stuff that if he's saying that this is like a good thing for kids to be getting pregnant, I would obviously
Sure.
disagree with.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like you're a little too charitable to him in some of these things, that you may be missing some things in some context and in implicit ideas that he's making with the way that he's forming his sentences, as somebody who's been talking for years about these type of issues
very real.
over and over again. Right? Like I don't know, it's just like once again to the pregnancy thing, like the real problem, the actual problem being not being married and not children getting pregnant. I don't know, it just speaks a lot. I feel like it betrays a lot your ideology on these type of issues. And like, sure, he can say, "Oh, I don't support it." He just doesn't believe it's not a real problem. You know, I don't support putting chocolate on vanilla ice cream, but it's not a real problem.
That's kind of my point, though, is that like when I say that I've heard a lot of these things over my lifetime, like where they're talking about, not early adolescence, that people are adults at earlier ages, that they can work, that they can do a lot more. Like, these are all things that I've heard throughout my entire life, but I never felt like any of them were advocating for these people to get pregnant or have kids, or that they wanted like child brides or any of this shit. And like, it seems very that's where a lot of this these arguments are heading, is that like these are the types of things that he's advocating for. Whereas like, yeah, I've heard this my entire life from pastors, from everybody that I grew up around, from my own parents, and it was very different things that they were advocating for, that they were that they believed in, than this type of stuff.
Sure, I mean, but that would just probably mean that you have a bit of a bias in that regard.
Well, and that's what I was trying to say, is that like it could be that I was just indoctrinated with all of this, and I'm just a little bit too used to the language. But I also think that it means that I have an experience with these people that to where I think I understand what it is that they're trying to say a little bit better. And
sure,
that,
but I wouldn't say that Matt Walsh is these people. Matt Walsh is very firmly to the right of, I think, most anybody that you would ever know.
My dad, my family's probably to the right of Matt Walsh. They're like Christian nationalists, and that's probably the majority of like Republicans in Georgia are like Christian nationalists, more like fascistic sorts of people.
I'm not sure if I would necessarily call like your average normie like Republican. I think they'd be sympathetic to some of those opinions, especially if phrased correctly. I would say that your average person is probably, even your average Republican's firmly to the right of these people. Or I don't know. You said you live in like
most of them are
normie
pretty much
Georgia?
on board with somebody. Yeah, I would say most of them are pretty on board with somebody like Nick Fuentes, outside of the race stuff and the Jew stuff. Like outside of that, they're all pretty much the same as Nick Fuentes. They're all like right there with him.
Oh, I mean, like, but that you just mentioned his whole bit, like his whole thing.
Well, no, most of his stuff is Christian nationalism, right? It's the whole thing that we have a problem with him on is like the race and the Jew stuff. But everything else is like there's a whole ideology that pushes him in this direction and really like twists the difference between him and all other Republicans, is that they're all probably Christian nationalists. They're all pretty fascistic. They are all like their evangelical beliefs are what push all of their political beliefs. It's just that they also fetishize Jewish people and believe that they were the ones who ended slavery and racism in America, and they take pride in that. And so there's like a massive block between them and Nick Fuentes because of all of that.
Okay, sure. I mean, I don't have like super big disagreements on that, I guess. Sure. I mean, I have more of a reason to make sure these people aren't in power ever.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I guess we don't have much of a disagreement on like the actual points that you were making. It was more so the like.
At first, I felt
implications
like
that
you
come with the
kind of had
questions.
I don't know. At first, it kind of felt like you were talking to me as an outlet through other for talking to other people that you had more of a disagreement with.
Well, so it's more so that your video on Matt Walsh initially was like over a year ago, and I could be misremembering whether or not you were making the child bride points, but I felt like you were. And so when you say you weren't, or at least even if you say you did and you don't believe it now or whatever, like, yeah, there's not much of a thing for me to argue against then.
I mean, I don't know. Like on that point, these societies that he was like hyping up were societies where child brides are very common, and they're still common today. Like I don't know. I just feel like it's a natural extension from you thinking that like a 16-year-old being an adult who can make these type of decisions, like get pregnant. I think you could also easily believe that he would say that it'd be fine to go along with like those same 16-year-olds being married off to like full grown adult men.
Okay, well, I was saying that
And
to
as
say that
long
I'm
as
not
those
trying to
people,
argue against anybody else by extension.
Yeah,
but
sure.
still, yeah, I think that he's still going to believe in some sort of like scale of like there's no difference between an adult who's 13 and an adult who's 70. Like I'm sure he still believes in some sort of scaling that gets you to the point where you're like gaining more and more rights and more abilities over time. It just
rights and abilities? No, I don't think he believes in that. Like over time, no, because that would be his same idea with the gradual change between child and adult. No, he believes in a full, like 1 second you're a child, next second you're an adult, and that's why he hyped up these rights. That he wasn't just saying them to be like, I think he's like, yeah, he's being descriptive, but he's very clearly trying to paint a prescriptive picture with these descriptive statements.
Okay, so again, I agree that I think he's probably painting a picture to where he's saying that like kids should work, but we agree on the descriptive stuff that they're like capable of doing these things. It's just a better society if they don't. But yeah, I think that he is probably prescribing that they should be working at these earlier ages. But I don't think that he's like drawing that to say like now they should be like smoking and drinking and or capable of doing these things, or driving at 13, or.
Well, I mean, he does believe that they should be capable of doing those things. Like, doesn't he make a well, like drinking? Doesn't he believe that these, like, once you reach, quote unquote adulthood, that you would have? I mean, he's talked about this before, like joining the military, starting a family, drinking, voting, all this type of stuff. You're like a grown adult. He said that multiple times. Yeah, I think drinking is an explicit one that he actually said.
Okay.
Well, didn't he say take a sip of beer? Didn't he say specifically like you should be these guys, they should be this like 17-year-old should be able to take a sip of beer, or we don't even allow them to take a sip of beer? I don't have that quote specifically on me. He did.
Yeah, I don't know. I Googled Matt Walsh take a sip of beer, and all I'm getting is stuff about him being upset about whoever that trans woman was who did the Bud Light commercial.
Okay. I mean, if I can find that, if I find that, I'll send it to you.
But yeah, even like I feel like him saying in these videos, like I'm not advocating for 16-year-olds to get pregnant, or I think they should wait. Like I feel like that indicates to me that he still does believe in some sort of scaling rights over time. I just think that we agree that he thinks that they should have more rights earlier on, or not rights, but that he's advocating for kids to do things earlier on than you or I would be in favor of.
Okay, sure. I guess. Well, like, okay. I think. What do you think? You think we've reached? You think we've reached a good conclusion?
I think we've reached a good conclusion again.
You have a family,
most
buddy?
of my problem earlier on, what I felt like you were saying, I don't feel like you're saying that, and so I have I kind of takes like any want to argue out of it. No, I don't have a family. Do you?
You don't have a family?
No.
Do you have a found family? Like people that's
like,
your home?
Sorry. Like I have like parents, and I don't have my own family, but I have, yes, I have like parents and brothers and sisters and all of that.
Are they
yeah.
well?
Yes, they're doing well.
That's good. Are you doing well? And taking care of yourself?
I am doing well. Yes, sir.
You
How about
eating
you?
well? You eating your veggies?
I am definitely eating my veggies. Yes, I'm
That's
doing
good.
all of these things.
I've been trying to do
How
that.
have
I've been
you
trying to
been?
go to the gym to work out more. I'm trying to lose some weight. I bought some pants that were the same size that I wore back when I was in early college, and I couldn't fit them. And that was honestly my canon event moment where I knew things should probably change. Sitting down all day on my silly little computer, it's done things to me.
Yeah, this is the first time I've streamed full time before, and this is definitely wearing on me. I need to get out in the sun more.
Oh yeah, I used to, especially when the sun was out in spring and summer. I like to sunbathe on the trampoline outside. I just I wear my skimpiest, sluttiest shirt that I have, and then I just like lay out starfish with my headphones on and just soak up sunlight after I put some sunscreen on, and it's good.
Nice.
It cured my depression.
I don't know if we've never spoken before, but I don't know if you have like any awareness of my content. We talked.
I do not.
Talked about a year or two ago.
Yeah, you said something to me on
stuff.
We had like a small back and forth on Twitter, and I think I left you on red, just like I do most everybody. So don't take it personally. I do it to my own
I don't
girlfriend.
ever get on Twitter. I had a video where I reviewed something of yours, and one of my mods reached out to you and was like, "Hey,
is that a mod? I thought I talked to you."
I don't think so. I had made a video like talking about something that you were talking about with MRAs and or just like men's rights issues in general. And one of my mods reached out to you and was like, "Hey, here's this video. You should talk to him." And then somebody sent me a clip of you where they said like, "Hey, are you going to debate tomfoolery?" And you were like, "Oh, I can't. Like he's suspended right now on Twitch, so I can't talk to him." And that was kind of the end of that. I don't really get on Twitter. That's
okay.
Too much for me.
I don't know. Maybe I think they had your name. If it wasn't you, I thought I was talking to you, but I think they had your name in their thing or something. But okay, yeah, no problem.
Possibly.
That's okay.
All right, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. Take care of yourself, okay?
You too. Later.
Later. All right, well, where there's that chat. How'd I do? This game is so cool. Whoo, tweaked. Whoo, that's nasty. You did good, kid. Thank you. Unironically, no notes. 11 out of 10. Thank you. Sorry for leaving you on red. I didn't mean to check that shit. As a scaly velociraptor, let me tell you that your vid on that one racist goat furry roped me into your vids after watching Zan and Vash. Right. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the tier 1, Zep Solace. I really appreciate you. Thank you for that. Thanks for the love. That means a lot. Well, I just joined back in, you know. What were we talking about? We were talking about my appearance on the Matt on Matt Walsh's show. Sorry, his talk. Need more furries and scalies around here? Listen, that's not a need, but I don't really care if you do join. Matt Walsh is very weird for the anti-Semitic stuff. He just hides under. I disagree with people. Disagree with the Pope. what the Pope said about X or Y. I don't know, we can dig into that sometime. It wouldn't, you know, surprise me that people at the Daily Wire are anti-Semitic. I mean, they collect isms like Pokemon. This isn't something that this isn't something that surprises me. When you mentioned teen pregnancy isn't the problem, he changed topic to when someone's an adult. Okay, I can look back at it. Yeah, I can look back at it. I've been trying to get better at I caught myself. One thing that I noticed myself doing is I have a good point and then I'll derail myself by one thing that you don't want to do. One good debate or like talking thing that you can do is not asking multiple questions to somebody. Like, you shouldn't ask multiple questions, because when you ask multiple questions, it allows them to have different pathways out of answering. So you can have to be more focused. So I would like to ask, like, pace myself and ask just one question, because I did that accidentally a couple of times when I was talking to Walsh himself. And so after reviewing that and everything, I think I'm back on track with all that. So I wanted to catch myself there. I think I did a good job. So do you think caveats can just be ass covering at some point? Yeah, and I think I got to that with, like, these caveats are not real walls, like walls off on things. They're just road bumps on the way. They're not things that he actually, like, truly cares that much about. And, like, sure, he can be like against that, right? And honestly, he could be a little Weasley when he said I'm against child pregnancy, but also, what is an adult, right? Oh, these people are old enough to make these types of decisions, that he said, you know, multiple times. Yeah, road bumps with the trolley problem. I mean, like most teenage pregnancies, especially most teenage pregnancies, the father of that child is an adult man. Sorry, not most, but a large. Is it most? I know a large portion, but it might not be most. A lot of teens fucking each other. Yeah, that's true, but I don't know. I don't remember exactly where, like, if the research said most or like or just a large portion of them. I don't know, but I'm glad I brought all my receipts this time. They're very important. Some of these, listen, the thing is, some of these quotes are so deadly that there is actually no possible qualification that you could give to them to make them better. I don't know. How do you requalify? Like, when you specifically say things like, when he specifically goes, oh, like, yeah, when it comes to teens getting pregnant, it's not just like 18-year-olds, it's teens specifically. I think he's particular with his language. Your Honor, my client was having a gamer moment. But yeah, caveats can definitely just simply be ass covering, if they're allowed to be. And I think sometimes they definitely are not only allowed to be, but just are. Check that man's Bing history. 20% of teenage pregnancies is with an older man. I do hate that. I do hate that a lot. That's quite bad. Terrible, even. Foul. Wretched. Oh, you've come to say hi? She's sleeping, buddy. What? What? Anyways, whether he gave Matt Walsh a little bit more leeway than he gave you, I don't think that's true. I mean, I don't know. I could watch it back, but I personally don't think that's true. And I don't know. I get called too charitable. You guys know that? You guys see where I personally get called too charitable sometimes. Like, people have called me too charitable. People have been saying that I'm too good faith. It's real. I don't think I am. I think I can be, but not very often. I feel like that was being way too charitable. I feel like these statements all put together paint a very big picture and a very well put together picture of how this man works. You're very charitable, but I think it's healthy. Yeah, you know, you gotta be as charitable as you can. Gotta be as charitable as you can. You can't be. It's a very delicate. It's a very delicate web to weave on this type of stuff, and I don't know. I'm still a young man in this game. I'm still, even honestly, even a baby in this game. So I'm still working on it. So you're just not convicted, or maybe the executioner. Usually not. When, I don't know, sometimes there can still be some leeway, but I don't know. It's very hard to come back from something. The thing is, sure, there is an out, but the only out that there is if the next sentence is, Lamau, what I just said is a joke, not real, I don't believe it, not funny, and also very not true. Unless like the next sentence is that, there is just no coming back from some of the things that these people have said. Is it a facial band-aid for function or fashion? Okay, here's the thing. My girlfriend gets mad at me, but I'm the type of guy, I love the idea of having things prepared for if there's a problem, right? So anytime we have like an ache or ailment, I'm always the one to, I think like I make a mental note of it, and then I go to Walmart or Walgreens or something and then pick up the thing that will help out for that, right? Because like we had gas once, so I picked up gas relief. We had headaches once, so I picked up, you know, headache medicine. I was starting to feel a little like a cold coming in, so soon, well, next time we go to Walgreens, I'm gonna be picking up cold medicine, right? I have throat lozenges. I'm just building a nice little medicine cabinet, and I picked up band-aids a little while ago. So this band-aid is completely for function and not form, but it's not necessarily because I have an open wound. It's actually because I don't want to make an open wound. I'm the type of guy who loves to, you know, I can subconsciously and sometimes even in my sleep pick at, you know, scratches and like acne and stuff like that. So I have my cheeks are very acne prone, and I had like this really big bump on my cheek, and when I was washing my face, some of like the skin came up a little bit, and it was starting to, you know, it was starting to fucking you know, get open, and I found myself just like while I'm working, just like doing this, just picking at it, and I was like, no, I need to stop. And so just to make sure, making a mental note as somebody with ADHD, sometimes that shit ain't good enough. Sometimes that shit is not only not good enough, it can remind you to do something that you shouldn't do. So it's bad, actually. So instead of doing that and just hopefully relying on sheer willpower, I decided to be proactive and just put a band-aid over it real quick. Put anti-itching cream on it to stop it from like ever itching, like a big glob of it to stop it from ever itching, and then a band-aid over it to make sure that I won't touch it so it can heal properly, because I don't need any more dark spots on my cheeks. People have been saying recently that I have good skin, so I'd like to keep it that way. So since I don't go out that much and I'm not too like self-conscious about it, I'm perfectly happy being covered in band-aids sometimes to make sure that I'm not to make sure that I'm not going to, you know, be completely fucked and be, because I'm already covered in like a lot of dark spots throughout my entire life from doing that. So I'm like, as an adult now, I would like to change my ways. So that's basically it. So yeah, it's protective and proactive. Now that you mention it, your skin does seem better. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know, my skin, I've been like a little self-conscious about it, but at the end of the day, like it's just me. And also it's been something that I've been dealing with for a really long time. So it's just like really, it's like a lot of dryness and it's like a crazy amount of dryness. So I think I'm just, you know, happy. I think I'm just happy now, which is very good. I too am a texture picker. I have one acne scar on my dimple. Yeah. Shark, just tell her you're one of those Japanese Yankees from the 90s. Yeah, I'll put on like an American flag bandana and some sunglasses. You're like the vacation buddy that brings a fanny pack of first aid kits. I don't know, I guess I'm just weird like that. Every time I'm in a relationship, I go protective mode, and I'm like, okay, I need this, I need that, and I need to get this. And if she scrapes her ankle, I need that. I mean, she's the whole reason why I actually picked up and bought this like bottle of Tiger Balm, because sometimes we'll get like, you know, pains and aches sometimes, especially when you're working, running around, going to the gym. It'll just happen. And so that on a boo-boo or something, on like a tiny bit of joint pain, on like a leg pain, on a bruise, is just it's very nice. That shit smells peak. It's pretty crazy. It smells like a drug, I'm gonna be honest. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's very strong, but I really don't think it's that bad. I'm not a hater. Tiger Balm slaps. I eat that shit. Yeah. I mean, like, it does taste pretty good. I just wonder why they always put it in such a small bottle. They should make an extra large family size pack. I don't know, maybe put in a 6-pack or something. Did you see this new female gym dress code? Now, is this a joke? Can somebody tell me if this is the picture that I think I'm thinking of? Yeah, is this a meme? Does anyone know? Is it like a memester? This is how women should dress at the gym. See, ladies, it's not that hard. You can do it too. Believe in yourself and stop being a whore. Is this a joke? I just don't know. It seems like a joke. Looks like an office outfit. How about this one? Oh, that's a good one. That's a good fit. The fuck is that fit? I don't know. It's like something to. It's so the devil can't see the pussy and the devil can't see the ass. Not the Iron Maiden. Yeah, she can take that to the She can take that to the gym. Walk around like walk around in the trad sarcophagus. Is she going to church? It's not a workout fit. She said these are yoga pants, but this seems like the biggest lie I've ever heard in my entire life. It just looks like, they look like skinny jeans or like really stretchy fucking like khakis. They're not, these do not look, these aren't yoga pants. Yeah, those are like skinny khakis, not the yogurt pants. But I don't know, it seems like a joke. And also this looks like a 16-year-old. So I just don't know. Wait, let me take this off just in case. She has a YouTube channel.
I appreciate.
Huh? Cucked Adam 22 goes crazy after another man railed his wife. Oh, is this not a joke? Oh, I guess it's not. I guess it's not a meme. Because this whole time I was just treating this like it was a silly joke. But look at her background. Look at her background. She has like the First Amendment framed. She has like a trooper mask. Maybe she's pro-empire. Even American flag blinds that are touching the ground. Crazy. A framed American flag. It's just, what is happening here? This is crazy. She hasn't uploaded in 2 months. I was right. Oliver Anthony admits he's not a conservative. Vivek Ramaswamy triggers Megyn Kelly. Claims government was involved in 9/11. Fuzi's insane deleted message to Andrew Tate. I don't know. Wait, is she like a short frog now? Well, let's see.
Oh yeah. No, I love how masculine my husband is, and he just makes all the decisions. And you know, women are so indecisive. Even like I will second guess every stupid decision I make, whether it's like what should I eat? It's like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll have that. It's so stupid, and he just makes the decisions. It makes it so much better. And even if I disagree with it, it's like, no, you vowed to submit to me, so you're gonna trust my decisions. And I've honestly never been happier and more fulfilled. I haven't eaten meat since I was like 8, and he forces me to eat meat.
Okay. All right. Listen, I'm not taking the bait, okay? We're not going to Pearly 2.0. It's not happening. Yeah, and her shit popped up 7 months ago. Yeah, we're not doing this. We're not doing Pearl 2.0. It's not happening. I know she has a 100K. It seems like she's just big on YouTube. Oh, sorry. It seems like she's just big on Twitter, which is, I love shitty content creators who are only big on Twitter, because that means once this like godforsaken platform crumbles, that all of their relevance and clout goes along with it. Because it is actually literally the only place where they can spew this bullshit for a long enough time that they'll be able to make anything even resembling a career out of it. She's a Twitter creator. Bolting. The botting is coming from inside the house, Elon. Right? Absolutely right. It's just crazy. It's wildness. It's wild stuff. It's remarkable stuff. I don't know. Maybe one thing on this is that, also, can we talk about this real quick? I think I want to make like really one more Israel-Palestine segment. And then after that, I don't want to touch it for a little while. Mostly because
shark, hog.
It's really draining. It's really taxing on like, for one, it's really taxing on the mental health of not only like me, but I think of the whole audience when we go on about it for like too long. And the best thing to do is to be aware of stuff, but not completely be just like completely drained. I don't know. And the thing is, it's really hard to be able to encapsulate the sheer the sheer level of human suffering that's going on in these in Gaza. I just don't know if I can do it with any like real justice. I can do what I can, but I can't like do it all or everything. Mostly because it's just so bad that I just, a lot of things I just simply can't show you. I saw a video the other night while I was looking for some clips to put together for the segments of like people trying to save people that just got, well, trying to look for survivors under like an apartment block that Israel leveled, and literally all they found were just pieces of human beings. And so they were there, right, on their hands and knees, like taking just human body parts that you could barely even recognize as human beings, and then putting them on a tarp, right? It was what I thought is what you can think is like a torso and pelvis, no arms, no legs, the guts gone, just like flesh sticking to bones, just meat and sinew and bone. And they just picked it up and then put it on the tarp with the rest of the like unidentifiable body parts. And that's the moment where I was like thinking to myself, I was like, can I even there's something, you can't even understand what's going on until you see it, and you can't understand it until you're there. And I can't even fully understand it because I'm not even there, right? But I don't know, it's just something that you can't really convey to people, the type of stuff that's going on. The last segment that I wanted to make, the reason why I'm not just stopping now is because there are reports from the White House that say that Biden has talked to Netanyahu and crew and said that you don't have months to finish up this war with Hamas. You don't have months to finish up this war with Hamas. You have weeks, because so you don't have months, you have weeks. The reason being is because public sentiment is so bad, we can't keep supporting you in this, and things are getting so bad that like you can't be able to continue this for a long time without us having to back up or do something. So you're going to have to speed this up, which I think not only is good in the sense of it's telling that protesting is working, it also means that Israel's going to just be I think it also could help explain why Israel just stepped up the levels of bombing and is pushing for the ground invasion and stuff like that, and could be pushing for more, mostly because, you know, they don't think that they have the time, so they just want to dump as many bombs as possible on the area until they dump as many bombs as possible on the area until they're forced to stop by the public sentiment changing. I mean, Netanyahu was, you know, the craziest thing is that you can say something that somebody in the West will call you anti-Semitic for, that people protesting outside of, you know, the parliament in Israel and Netanyahu's house are able to, are like protesting for and able to say. It's just super weird. Netanyahu needs to be Minecraft. I disavow. And Biden's polling numbers are crazy. There's been such a wild shift in polling numbers that I can't even really explain, you know? Well, I can explain them. He's a terrible person, which is hard for them to. Did you see that they wheeled out Obama? Did you see that the polling numbers are so bad that they wheeled out Obama? They had to start asking Obama to come out and do talks about this. This shit is so bad. I mean, the other day, in southern is the other day in southern Gaza, Israel bombed the last functioning power like water sanitation plant in the area. So like all of the clean water that they had stored up for people to be able to drink just ran through the streets. It is now just gone. So I don't know, but I just think they're just stepping up the genocide as fast as they possibly can until they're forced to stop. Just kill as many as they can before they're forced to stop. What does he have to say about it? He said that all of us are complicit in like Israel's occupation. And no, it's not. I mean, no, it's not us. It's you, dog. It's you and your vice president that helped continue this, made it worse, and are like continuing in the future to make it worse. I just got here. He did that. He shifted the blame to everybody, and then he shifted the blame again to social media. So it's very stupid. Oh yeah, and then Obama tweeted out Joe Biden talking. Recently, yeah. So I don't know. They like bro had to wheel out Obama he had to pull Obama from retirement to help him out with this one because it's not looking good. The thing is, like, across the board, Democrats have lost so many voters that it's genuinely very shocking. The type of things that we're seeing out here, right? I saw something recently that said that Democrats in some places have lost like 14 points. Especially when we're talking about like Minnesota or something, bro. It's Michigan, Minnesota, Georgia, all those places with large Muslim populations. They're getting shellacked. They're getting obliterated. There's in some places there's a 10, there's a you know 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm talking like 10, 13, 10, 12, 13, 14. There's 11 in there too. Percent shifts away from Democrats and towards Republicans. Away from Democrats who support Israel and Joe Biden. Right now, if given the option to, Donald Trump is winning the popular vote, which is insane, and by I think like 5 points. But a generic Democrat is up by like 12 or something. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now that isn't, just so you know, it isn't every poll, but yeah, there are a lot of polls coming out that look real bad. No, it look real bad. Does Donald have a shot? Yeah. If I'm gonna be honest with you, yeah, he has a shot. If the Democrats, if specifically Joe Biden stays as bad as this, I mean, just to explain it here, right? And these are New York Times Siena polls, which are very good. They're not the only poll, and that's why we take polling averages. But New York Times Siena is a very decent and reputable poll, and it's showing Biden behind in like 5 swing states.
The New York Times and they're right about it, says, in a remarkable sign of a gradual racial realignment between the two parties, the more diverse the swing state, the farther Mr. Biden was behind. And he led only in the whitest of 6.
So Joe Biden is withering away what little good faith that that minorities had with like the Democratic Party, or it's just specifically with him. I don't know, maybe if things stay the way he is, maybe he's gonna start running and be like, if you're if you're wondering if you're going to vote for me or not, then you ain't white. It's possible. It's possible. I hate this timeline. It's sad. It is sad. All because he can't bring himself to stand up against AI pack and all of and all of the shit that comes with it. Can Trump run after his coup attempt? Yes. Yes. He was not convicted during his impeachment. And he's still on the ballot in most states. Some states, there are lawsuits in some battleground states that have been allowed to move forward about him being disqualified, but none of them disqualified from being on the ballot, that is, but none of them have fully gone through with completely disqualifying him. So yes, the answer is yes. One of the only times Democrats have had a fire lit under their ass. Yeah, it's getting bad. Cory Booker walked out of his own event after like 80% of the people there were hiding as protesters against his support for Israel. Shit was real bad. Good? Yeah, none of these people should ever know peace. Yeah, this one. I think this is it.
Sources say that President Biden and his administration are all warning Israel that it has weeks, not months, to uproot Hamas from Gaza, and that every image of a dead Palestinian child is tipping public support away from its war. Sources say that President...
Guys, you bombing children is like really a bad look. And I support you, don't get me wrong, but it's hard to do it publicly when you keep doing that. So if you're gonna do it quick, so I don't have to deal with this too much, okay? Thank you. Do it quick. Do it quick. Murder kids quicker, please. Yeah, that's basically it. But anyways, we can't. The thing is, I wanted to talk about that, about, I don't know, maybe like titling the segment something like "It's Working," because it's working. It is working. So keep protesting. Get out there. Pressure your politicians. Make it happen. It is working. So yeah. Also, I've kept reading Sakamoto Days. Ooh. That's good. Yes, call your representative. Go to a protest if you can. Organize a protest as well. Don't just be a follower, be a leader. Make a protest. Talk to people. Talk to people in your area. Are the days still Sakamoto? Absolutely. Ugh, Sakamoto days is so peak. So peak. Undead Unluck? So peak. And honestly, I really do hate to say it. I think I'm starting to give up on... I hate to say it. I think I'm starting to give up on Kagurabachi. I don't know if I can keep this up anymore. Like a new Kagurabachi chapter dropped today. They drop every Sunday. I don't know if I can keep this up. I opened it, I looked at the first chapter, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I closed it. I need, because that's never happened before, because I'm like, oh, I do wonder what happens next. This time, I don't know. I was like, I don't really need to know what happens next. And I do hate, you gotta keep up the meme. I want to like Kagurabachi. I want to like it. Just my heart is, but I also have to listen to my heart. And it's telling me that it's not peak. I'm sorry. Me and my friends tried to get me into Star Wars. Yeah, it's not peak. It's just not peak fiction. It is doomed to be mid. What can I say? What can I say? It's no Sakamoto days. It's no Undead Unluck, you know? It's no Jujutsu Kaisen. It's not. It's not. It just ain't. I wish it was, but it's not. I heard One Piece, its peak. Yeah, I heard Attack on Titan just ended, and people I was watching anime nerds fight about whether or not Attack on Titan is better or worse than One Piece. And I don't know, personally I was never that invested or drawn into the Attack on Titan world, but I don't think Attack on Titan is bad. It seems good. The ending seems giga ass, but I'm just glad it has an ending now. Yeah, okay. We're not going to be spoiling anything, just so you know, and don't spoil anything in chat. But yeah, I heard that it's giga ass, but I feel like One Piece has a lot stronger world building. Good lord, I hope it does. That shit's been going on for longer than I've been alive. If that shit doesn't have good world building, what the fuck is Oda doing? Like, if One Piece not only does not have good world building, but some of the best world building in all of comic book history, then it should not exist. I hate to say it. There's no way you can write some bullshit for like 25 years and then it be like mid world building. If that's the case, then what were you doing for the last 25 years, bro? Like, what are you saying? Like, what were you wasting your time on? So yeah, I try not to compare too much to One Piece, because One Piece should be peakaroni. And honestly, if it's not, it's like a massive problem. Like studying, like getting into One Piece should be like actually doing world history. Should be like doing a world history class, you know what I mean? And if it isn't, then Oda fucked up. It basically is Nodders. Yeah, I don't know. One Piece seems cool, but it's not something that I feel invested in. That I feel the want to get into. I've never been like, boy, I gotta get up to date with One Piece. I gotta make sure I don't spoil myself when it comes to One Piece. I don't even think it's possible, actually, but yeah, I really gotta make sure I get up to date with everything. I really want to know what happens next. That's never happened to me really when it comes to One Piece. But it seems great. Having to save it when I'm sick or something. Yeah, I was actually, when we were at the peak of COVID, I was rolling around licking doorknobs, you know, smearing, I was, you know, licking doorknobs, smearing my face on people's seats and shit like that, digging in trash cans for used mask and for like used mask and like chopping it up and adding it to my salads and stuff like that to try and get COVID. So simply I could just be sick enough for long enough to be able to read One Piece. So I would actually have the time to be able to read it. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. I did not get COVID. I've never had COVID. I'm suffering now that I got up to One Piece. Yeah, now you have to wait week to week. It's kind of sad, ain't it? It's the same way I feel with JJK. Now I have to wait week to week to see what my boy Gege is cooking up. But you know, usually it's great, so I'm happy about that. Outside of that, I hate you out of jealousy. Nah, I didn't. You know the craziest thing about it? I worked customer service and my ass never got COVID. I was vaccinated throughout the whole thing, you know? How do you feel about JoJo? It's just not something I really care about. It's not something I really... Recently, I learned that JoJo's is apparently not one real story, and it's just like a bunch of separate books that are like mini stories inside of the broader world of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where like it's like, well, I knew it was not necessarily one story, but I thought that it was more cohesive than just like it being, you know, different books entirely for the different, I know, adventure that he was JoJoing at that point in time or whatever. I don't know, it's just not something I really care about. I just, outside of that, I don't know what else to say. I just don't care. I just don't care. And when people start talking about JoJo's, my brain kind of shuts off. I wasn't interested in JJK, but you got me to check it out, and now I'm very hooked. It really is peak. That's what I'm telling you. You may have heard a lot of people saying, oh, watch this, it's peak. Watch that, it's peak. Do this, it's peak. Do that, it's peak. No, I'm telling you. Jujutsu Kaisen is peak. It's just great. And honestly, it gets better once you get into the community and everything, and you start like I'm telling you, I wish I could show you some of these JJK memes, but I don't want to spoil anything for anybody because it's just that good. I would genuinely feel bad for somebody if they already saw the "I'm you" quote, you know? I would genuinely feel bad for somebody if they didn't see the, you know, if they didn't see or read for their own eyes the Tengen, I'm not like you. I have lived 1,000 years of enemies and alliances, a cursed world. I'd be sad if they didn't get to see I'd win in real life. I'd be sad if they didn't get to see, you know, you got it from here. I'd be sad if they didn't get to see live a good life. Okay, I'd be sad. So yeah, I don't want to spoil it for anyone. I take that shit seriously, 100% seriously. An annual JJK meme segment when an arc is over. Ugh, Shibuya arcs are crazy though. Culling game memes are crazy too. I've been meaning to watch JJK, but I've been too busy grinding RuneScape. I love how the JJK Chainsaw Man authors are buddies and fan of each other's work. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think Fujimoto and Gege, they seem pretty cool. But honestly, it seems like I heard recently that it's not Fujimoto, sorry. Fujimoto was not invited. Apparently, Horikoshi, Taite Kubo, and Gege all went out to dinner together. And so they're hanging out, which I think is I think that's super cute. I'm happy for them. I love this song. I have no idea about JJK or JoJo, to be honest. I mean, I think if you enjoy some battle shonen, I think and you haven't read Jujutsu Kaisen, I would say give it a try. I think you'll definitely really enjoy it. I don't say this very often, but I'll say it here. It's actually a work of art. The intricacy of the storytelling is just actually a work of art. I think it's great. I look up to the series a lot.
This meme is very real.
JJK has some of the least filler I've ever seen, and I'm only a season. Let me tell you one thing, okay? That continues forever. JJK has like no filler. It literally has no filler. Everything you actually have to watch. I can't even possibly imagine something that's not filler. It's all meat. No fat, all meat. I'm telling you, it's genuinely wild. Everything means something. Everything you have to remember. Everything is important. There's like nothing in there that's like not important to the story. He's not lying. It's all Argo, you read it recently. It's literally all plot. And that's it. Oh, also good morning, sweetie. You sleep well? Good. I was about to wrap up too. You wake up at a great time. Not Wagyu. It's not Wagyu quality though. But it's so good. I've been thinking about it for years. Yo, been watching for I think 2 years now, and ever since I stumbled upon you from watching Vosh for a while, keep doing what you do, both as a black person and one of them queers. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching for a while. I much love from Shark. We like that white shark guy. He's cool. He's cool. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's wild. It's all filler. Sorry, it's wild. There's like no filler, literally none. It's Gege is like, I want to write a story, not plot, and he just I want a story, no filler, and that's just all it is. It's the crazy thing about JJK is it's actually so bad that the one of the biggest complaints. Okay, here's the thing. One of the biggest complaints in the community that you'll hear is people saying that the artist is rushing the series to be over, and not because things are being like skipped, but because things are moving so fast that they don't like. People genuinely think that JJK is going to be over in like 30 chapters. It's moving that fucking fast. All right, it's just like boom, 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 one after the other. There's like no breaks. It's not like Taite Kubo rushing the series to get done. Like there's a bunch of stuff just left around. It's just moving so fast that you can't imagine what's going on? like you can't imagine this thing lasting for too long, but I think it has like a long time left, in my personal opinion. Bless you for making a video on that foot fetishist fascist furry. The alliteration goes crazy. Thank you. I appreciate you. Listen, it was a fun video to make. I'll tell you that much. It's actually all gas, right, Argo? It's just all gas. And the thing is, it's all gas in two ways. All gas in the sense of like it's always moving, and all gas in the sense of it's all great. The Hubert fight in JJK? What? Yeah, it's great. Check it out. Sakamoto Days is great too. I think it's fantastic. It makes me happy reading it. I care about the characters a lot. They're my besties, if I'm gonna be honest with you. I love the idea of building a family, you know? I genuinely think it's great. This band gives us a bad... Band gives us a bad name? What's happening? Also found it funny that I started editing with you around the Furry Fit video, but I didn't do that one specifically. Oh yeah, that one's on me. That's a shark classic. I did that one by myself. Shark, you got a favorite family member in Sakamoto Days? I like Shin. I want Shin to go far. I like that. I like his backstory is really nice. I think it's really cute, and wholesome. I think the care that he has for like Sakamoto and everything, I think that's great. And I just wish that I just wish the best for him. He's a sweetie pie. He really is. I really wish the best for him. I love Shin. Shin's great. And so right now I'm on like chapter. I'm on the, for the people who've read it, I'm on right now. I'm at the section with the plane. If you know, you know, the plane fight. And like watching Shin come into his own is just it's very cool. I think it's great. What's the sniper guy's name? I forget his name. I haven't been reading it long enough to be able to remember all these guys' names. I always see it's art, so maybe I'll finally check it out. He's such a goof. Yeah, but he's great. Like, bro, yeah, but he's great. And Hana loves him. I mean, if he's Hana approved, he can't be bad. He literally can't be bad if he's Hana approved. He's friends with a young girl. If I want to check it out, I will say one of the best like mango decisions that I've made this year has been reading Sakamoto Days. And reading The Summer Hikaru Died. Both of those have been fantastic mango decisions on my part recently. So oh, and it's recent, but I would also add in Undead Unluck. Yeah, Undead Unluck has been a great that's what, to wind down and everything. That's how I've been spending some of my time reading some of that stuff, and it's great, fantastic. Is the summer thing a murder mystery? You can call it that, sure. It's more like, I would describe it as, what if you were best friends with Lovecraftian horror that was also a baby? Like, what if Kirby was kind of like an angsty, well, like, what if Kirby was like a little bit of an angsty like 13-year-old, but also like an angsty 13-year-old who has no real sense of morality because he's not a human. but he was also your best friend. Boy, yo. Hikaru is one I've actually kept up with. Some panels are for a few days. Yo, some panels creep me out. Yeah, they really are wild. Yo, so Cross, tell me, what do you think? Because you're a fabled and beloved member of the community. I think I put you on Hikaru, but let me know if you did that yourself. What do you think about it? Oh, it scared you. Yeah, some of those panels are mad scary. I can't lie. Right? Like, the author does such a great job with being able to their use of paneling and speech bubbles is something that I've really never seen to that degree. Is like to a skill level of something I've never actually seen replicated in any like ongoing manga that I've like read or seen. The usage of panel work it's kind of like, if I don't know, it's like I haven't read Junji Ito, so I don't know if she does that type of stuff, but it's like, I don't know, if like, imagine here, if you've read like horror mangaka Junji Ito's work, imagine if she like thought up a boyfriend. Okay, Junji's a guy. Oh, Ito's a guy, my bad, I thought it was a woman. Anyways, Junji Ito, imagine if Junji Ito thought up the idea of your boyfriend, right? Or your partner, okay? And that's the and that's the guy who we have to deal with in the summer Hikaru died. I like it a lot. It's dreadful, it has a heavy feeling, right? I've never felt fear the same way I have through mango panels through like the summer Hikaru died. It's quite wild. Didn't continue with a gay analogy? Nah. Well, you don't have to be. We have a lot of women here, okay? So them having a boyfriend would not be gay, actually. So his breakdown of paneling is always great. His videos. Who? Super Eye Patch Wolf. Oh, cool. Jun is a man's name in Japan. Okay. I don't know that. I'm not Japan. My ass is not Japan at all. Anyways, it's been great bless you. It's been great talking to you all today. Not a really big stream. I've been spending the weekend with the girly, so I gotta get back to doing that. I think she wants a hug or something. You know, girls, they want hugs. But thank you all for watching tonight. I really appreciate you. We should be back again Monday or Tuesday, one of the two. Probably Monday, tomorrow day, but we'll see. It depends on when I get done with putting together some seggies that I have loaded up. If they're not good enough to be able to start, then you'll see me with a real like sort of big content stream like Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll see, right? But we'll still be live every single day until then, because we're gonna be gamerin'. Woo, gamerin'. Anybody want to play some Mario Wonder? I know I do. Tell Melissa we said hi. Baby, they love you. She said hello. But all right, thank you everybody for watching. You all are great. And I'd love to have you back for another meme stream. Have a good night, everyone.